what we're doing here.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day. Great to have you with us on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. 7 o'clock, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke is here. Carrie is here. I'm Randy. Matthew is here. Hi, kids. How we doing?
How's it going?
Happy Hump Day.
How goes it?
Aren't you glad I remembered in that split second?
Did you just panic right there?
I totally did. I totally panicked.
You're like, oh, wait, what day is this? Yes.
We're going to talk to Jamie Rivers later on in the show. We're going to change things around today. Jamie could join us only at 7:45, so we're going to move Tioli up to 7:30, and we're going to have a late edition, a special 8:45 edition of The Fight, because Bobby Tommy is going to join us coming up at 8:30.
Bobby Tommy, who's that?
Robert Blues Center and Tomer and opening drive member Robert Thomas is going to join us.
There you go.
The reason that I was delayed in doing this.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Hump Day.
Because I forgot to, before we came on the air, when we were all discussing, I forgot to ask you guys, if you're thinking about getting your benefits done here at Hubbard Radio, it's benefit open enrollment.
I looked at the bold earlier. I'm like, I need to do this. I picked the wrong thing. My deductible is way too high.
So you got to change that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's a new health insurance, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for reminding us.
You're
That is
very welcome.
Make sure
that is great of you to do that.
The late, great Chris Duncan was as kind and innocent a person as you could ever meet. And one day, when we were doing the fast lane, he walked in, and I asked the same question because I want to make sure that everybody gets it done. Because if you don't get it done by November 3rd, then you're kind of out of luck. And I said, Dunk, you get all your benefits stuff done? He said, what? And I said, well, your health insurance and benefits and things like vacation, all that. And he said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, here, let me help you out. We had a wonderful, unbelievable HR person named Amanda Kepi. And I walked him back to Amanda, and I said, here, you got to take care of Dunk with benefits. So they went through it all, and she took care of him. He came back, and I said, you all set? And he said, yeah. He said, Randy, you got to remember, and Dunk was 32, 33 years old at the time. He said, you got to remember, all I ever needed to know was what time the bus was.
That's it. Randy, yeah.
Yeah, he had people. He said, I wrote checks to clubhouse guys and knew what time the bus was, and that's all I needed to know.
Randy, when I got done playing and had to get insurance for the first time for myself at 32, 33 years old, I almost lost my mind. Because you got to think about it, from birth until 18, my mother did it.
Right.
From 18 to 22, the University of Illinois did it. From 22 to 32, whatever team I was playing on did it. I never knew anything. It was one of the hardest things. I'm like, what is all I had a panic attack. Right. Oh, my God, I don't know what I'm doing. 32-year-old man freaking out.
And we don't appreciate that as not former athletes. But you got people to take care of that stuff. So
I still get nervous even doing it now. So I don't know if that's... I'm like, I don't want to make the wrong decision.
Whatever I did last time, I'm still learning, clearly.
Speaking of group sessions, the Diamondbacks could use a little group therapy here.
Sit together.
They're down 2-0 to the Phillies, who routed them last night by a score of 10-0 in Philadelphia, where the crowds, and I love St. Louis postseason baseball crowds. They're the best. They're awesome. I don't know if they're the best anymore. Those Philadelphia crowds have set the bar for us next season when we're back in the playoffs.
Oh my gosh. Here's the thing. You have the best fans in baseball still here. I think those are some fighting words, Randy. What about the most insane fans in baseball for the Phillies? And I mean that in the most endearing way possible. So that's MIFIB. Most insane fans in baseball.
Okay. And there was a great piece in The Athletic, by the way, about how Philly fans have found their positivity now. They are no longer a negative fan base, and it started when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but now they had that groundswell of support to give Trey Turner
that was amazing.
The standing O, and he's hit like 350 since with 18 homers or something like that. They're a different fan base than they were 5 years ago.
That's crazy, because it did kind of shift for him. When I saw that the Philly fans were applauding him and he was thinking it up like that, I'm like, what the hell is going on in Philly? I've been to Philly. I played in Philly. This is not Philadelphia that I know. And again, maybe it was a shift where they're like, you know what? Let's try this out. We've been doing it this way for so long. Let's try this out. And the Philadelphia Phillies, man, normally when you watch baseball, we're here in the Cardinals. We scored 10 runs. Oh, save some of those for tomorrow. They don't have to save them. They got plenty in the tank. They got more to give. And so they are playing at a different level, and it's fun to watch.
CD, was there ever an environment where you went to where the atmosphere you just even knew going in was going to be intimidating?
Philadelphia was one. Penn State was extremely, deafening.
The big house?
Michigan wasn't that bad, but Penn State, not that bad.
Really?
Penn State, when it feels like it's 100,000 at night, and they got on all white, and it feels like everybody is right there. Purdue also, because the fans are literally, you can reach behind the bench and give high five if you want to. They're extremely close in Iowa.
One time when I was in college, me and a group of guys who got in my 1977 Cutlass, 5 of us, drove up to Chicago Stadium for a Blues Blackhawks game. We're all wearing our Blues gear. We painted our hair temporary blue, and I'm going into Chicago Stadium. It's the first time I'd ever been there. I go to grab my wallet to get my ticket out of my wallet, and one of the Blackhawks fans says, "You can tell he's never been here before."
Oh my God!
Yeah, we get up to our seats, and the Blackhawks take 5-2 lead going into the third period, and the Blues come back and tie the game. I think we wound up losing, but we were going bananas cheering for the Blues. And here we are with blue hair, and they're throwing beer at us, and they're throwing stuff at us. They actually had to get the Yellow Jacket security guys to surround the 5 of us to protect us. Yeah,
wow.
That was intimidating.
Yeah, that's intimidating to say the least.
You can tell he's never
Kansas
been here
City is
before.
another one too. The Chiefs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. When they do the national anthem and they all say "Home of the Chiefs," it's pretty loud.
When the greatest show on turf was going, it was amazing here. And we weren't intimidating, but we were loud. A couple of people, as a matter of fact, one of the Eagles players, a defensive end that they had, I forget his name, said that this was the place he hated to play most because you couldn't hear yourself think. And then Marty Schottenheimer, who coached 10 years in Kansas City, comes here with the Chargers, and the Rams beat them, I think, in 2001. Or maybe it was 2002. And, because they came back, the Rams came back, and Marty Schottenheimer said, "I've been in a lot of loud places, but this is the loudest venue I've ever been in."
Yeah.
And that's what everybody has to feel like going into the Phillies right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just
no
intimidating.
doubt.
They're in general, the team.
right there on you.
Yes, they're right there. I would almost imagine what it would be like going into a Roman Coliseum.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where it's just an absolutely insane electric environment. And I just feel like the Phillies in general are just living in opponents' nightmares right now, like Freddy Krueger.
No doubt. And Trey Turner didn't need the standing ovation. Everybody was on their feet last night when he stepped to the plate in the first inning.
Turner hits a drive, deep left center field, and the Phillies strike first again. Trey Turner, a solo shot. Weapons up and down this lineup. And the Philadelphia Phillies now with 17 homers this postseason.
Even then, in the first inning, you're thinking, uh-oh, for the Diamondbacks. Then in the third, the big boy came through.
2 up, 2 down. 6 in a row for Kelly. Back to the top of the order now, and Schwarber. And he sends that one to right, hit deep. Carroll turns, and it's gone. A line drive home run. Kyle Schwarber is second in as many games. 2-0 Phillies.
And to Merrill Kelly's credit, he was able to hold Philadelphia in check. It was still a 2-0 game in the 6th when Schwarber stepped in again.
Schwarber, Turner, and Harper will start it for the Phillies. Schwarber, a high drive into right center. He's watching. It's flying. Goodbye. Schwarber strikes again. 3-0 Phillies.
And that opened the door for a big 4-run inning for Philadelphia. They went on to win it 10-0. Aaron Nola, who we hoped the Cardinals would get just a few weeks ago, pitched 6 shutout innings for Philadelphia. He ain't coming here, folks.
Man, listen.
Oh, he's
them doors are closing left and right on these starting pitchers. Jordan Montgomery closed the door. Aaron Nola closed the damn door. It's getting slim pickings around here trying to figure out who the hell going to be on this roster in 2024.
Sean Manaea, come on down.
That's the thing, is that there's
Sonny
just
Gray, he's right there.
absolutely no way. There's no
Close
way.
the damn door. I'm going to close this door behind me.
The Phillies are saying, yeah, you can come take him from our cold, dead hands.
There you go.
Right, yeah. He went 6 shutout innings, struck out 7, didn't walk anybody, allowed 3 hits. 3 relievers came on and closed things out. Merrill Kelly pitched really well for Arizona. He goes 5 2/3, allows 3 hits, but 4 runs. He walked 3, struck out 6. And now Arizona has to go back home with Brandon Pfaadt pitching tomorrow night for them, and he'll go against Ranher Suarez.
Oh, that was all beautiful.
Thank you, Ranher Suarez. Yeah,
I like
What do the Diamondbacks do at this point? And I'm being dead serious. Like, what in the world do you do at this point if you're the Diamondbacks?
Bradford Doolittle of ESPN.com did a piece yesterday about how the Diamondbacks are the most unlikely LCS team ever. And I was trying to dissect his piece because there was a lot of math involved and it really made my head hurt. But he's not wrong. And what you have to do is hope for a miracle. And miracles do happen. There's no way that the 2006 Cardinals should have been in or won the World Series. Baseball miracles do happen, and that's what Arizona needs to have happen.
I was listening to Torey Lovello after the game and said they're not playing Diamondback baseball. They aren't doing the things. And when you watch the post-game show with Jimmy Rollins and Curtis Granderson and Albert and Pedro, they were saying the same thing. There were opportunities where you had runners on, they didn't want to steal a base, they didn't want to hit and run, they didn't put themselves in positions that they normally do throughout the season. And that comes with, when you get into the playoffs, it's a different environment if you aren't accustomed. The Phillies have been there. They have gone to the World Series and had the heartbreak of losing it. The Phillies, in their mind, are playing with house money. We know what is at stake. We know what's here. And the Diamondbacks are here like, yeah, we're happy to be here. As you said, the most unlikely team to be in this position. And it shows. They aren't playing the way that they play to get them there. And playoff baseball can make or break people.
Now, Diamondback fans, a couple of points for you, and we can localize this. 1985, the Cardinals go to L.A., lose Game 1 of the LCS to the Dodgers 4-1, lose Game 2, 8-2. Then they come home, they win Game 3, and then Vince Coleman gets hurt. And we think, oh, man, this is over. But they win Game 4, 12-2, and then Ozzie hits a home run, go crazy, folks, go crazy. Cardinals lose the first 2 and then wind up winning 4 in a row to win the series. And one of my favorite all-time stories is 1996, Joe Torre's first year as manager of the Yankees. And the Yankees lose Game 1 at home to the Braves 12-1, and then they get shut out in Game 2. And George Steinbrenner comes into Torre's office railing, "We're going to lose the World Series. I'm going to fire you." And Torre, the calmest guy in the world, says, George, it's okay. We're going to win the next 4. Had no idea that they would win the next 4, but then they came back after being beaten by Smoltz and Maddox in Games 1 and 2. They come back and beat Glavine and Avery in Games 3 and 4, and they win 4 in a row. So it can happen. It's easier to have happen if you have a good team, though.
Randy, it ain't going to happen this time.
No, it's
Just
not.
Not with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Because you're going to have Wheeler and Nola again.
Yeah. And Ranger Suarez is a good pitcher as well. He's a very, very good number 3.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's all I can tell you. D-backs.
Right.
Tell them good luck.
Tell them good luck.
And a great run and a team that's they're going to be on their way. They're really young and they have a chance to be good for a long time. So let's give them credit for that. And,
of course.
So Aaron Nola is probably $33 million a year, at least right now, and he hasn't even pitched in the World Series yet.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
if you were worried about what he did in the regular season, I think that all that thought process has gone down the postseason. Really
coming up, it is Wednesday. It is Hump Day, and that means it's Ask Uncle Randy Day on 101 ESPN. We've got that coming up for you next. Get your text in if you have a question about what's going on in your life and what advice we can give you. 314-399-9646. 314-399 Yo-ho! Ask Uncle Randy coming your way on 101 ESPN. You know, it's really interesting when I talk to people out in the business world. People in St. Louis love the potential of our town. Our buddy Dave Peacock just bringing a Fortune 1000 company back to St. Louis. We have a lot of things going for us that we wouldn't have going if we didn't have a healthy, vibrant public transportation system. And having Metro in St. Louis is critical to attracting businesses that create a significant amount of jobs in the region. It really does make a difference. Now, you might not be using MetroLink or the Metro system, but that doesn't mean it's not important. Don't let those preconceived notions hold you back. Give Metro a chance and experience the benefits for yourself, because even if you think, for example, that it isn't safe, do a little homework and find out that Metro's way safer than you might think. If you don't use it yourself, there are lots of reasons to recommend Metro to others. It really is a difference maker for our community. That's beyond the sports, which is awesome. I used it for sports last weekend for the Blues. So if you're thinking about making St. Louis better, think about helping people by helping them get around with Metro. And you can ride on. And in short, thanks to Metro, you don't have to drive to thrive.
Question for Uncle Randy? Let him dive into his infinite well filled with wisdom to find you answers. Text 314-399-9646. It's Ask Uncle Randy on 101 ESPN.
This is an important time of year. Here we are in mid to late October, and you're thinking, okay, I've got this new relationship. Are we taking this to the next level? Am I going to Thanksgiving with his family or her family? Okay, what are we going to do for the holidays? These are things that you need to start thinking about right now if you're in that new and exciting and loving relationship. Do you think it's going to be new and exciting and loving for the long term? Because these are decisions you have to make. Text us 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. At least you don't have to make the biggest decision, all right? You don't have to make the biggest decision. Okay, do I take him to a World Series game?
Not in St. Louis.
No, but I mean, at least you don't have to this year, because that's like, is there a bigger decision that you make in a relationship than do I take him or her to a World Series game? I don't think there is.
A lot of commitment.
It is.
That's probably
time.
before marriage, I think. Yeah.
Right before? Okay.
Yeah. Good indicator.
All right. So your questions, Matthew, what do you got for us?
Well, I think we got a perfect one considering how you just, prefaced this. Uncle Randy, I have a Halloween party this weekend and I need costume help. My girlfriend wants to capture the Ken and Barbie craze and I want a repeat of last year. I spent a good amount of money on my costume, but she's kind of tired of doing superheroes.
All right. I will suggest, and I'm going to turn this over to Brooke, but I would suggest that you don't reuse something that you used last year, especially if it's a superhero, which are timeless. Now, you can utilize and take advantage of your investment by doing superheroes maybe a couple of years down the road. No, you don't do the same Halloween costume back-to-back years.
Yeah, well, unless it was very expensive. Because
Usually
sometimes if
next
it's
year.
like cosplay, that stuff can be really expensive, especially for superheroes. I think superheroes is always a pretty good bet. And with the Ken and Barbie craze, I get that because you have the Barbie movie that just came out. But I feel like, oh, they just sent a picture of their costume. Oh, that looks great.
Let's see what they got.
That looks
Superhero
really
costume?
good.
Oh,
yeah.
let me check it out. Okay.
Thor and Loki. Okay.
That looks really good.
I like it.
I like it a lot. And I get the Ken and Barbie craze, but there's going to be a lot of Kens and Barbies running around
What would you
this
say?
Halloween.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I think I would repeat it because this looks like a nice costume.
And it does look expensive. Okay.
does.
If you're not going to be with the same group of people this year that you were with last year,
And
then
I
you're
promise
cool.
you, everybody's going to be Ken and Barbie
Yeah,
this
right.
year.
Yeah, but
Everybody.
I think that's the fun of it is dressing up differently
Yeah.
year after year. I just don't. I would like to, though. I
Yeah.
think it's pretty cool.
I think if you do it, then don't do like the version that I feel like a lot of people will do, which is like the pink Barbie
Right.
outfit where she's like a cowgirl and Ryan Gosling
What's wrong
as
with that?
Ken. Well, because that's the one that's like available everywhere.
Oh.
Maybe like do Ken when he's doing the Mojo Dojo Casa or what was that thing? Did you
haven't
guys
seen
see
the
that?
movie.
But yeah, where he has on like the vest and all that stuff.
I'm good with the cowgirl girls.
Yes.
Kimmy, if she wants to do Barbie, take the opportunity. Go as Oppenheimer, wear a nice suit.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That's a
yourself
good idea.
You know, we don't get to wear many trilbies / fedoras anymore in this country, and so you know what? Take the opportunity when you get a shot.
Have you been waiting for your chance to wear a
I want to talk
fedora?
about it. I want to talk about it. Brooke.
Without judgment, this is what's really going on here.
Brooke, come on, I don't wear hats.
Oh, that's true.
Go as Newt. Get a, you could easily go as Newt this year with your Japan jersey, Brooke. That's,
Yeah.
Lars Newbar.
Yeah, I could.
yeah. But not, you're not.
No, I
but
already
you
had
could.
my Halloween
I know.
costume, and I made the decision for David and I.
Nicely done. Much like this guy's. Dear Uncle Randy, my father and my father-in-law hate each other. This is a recent development. They're both refusing to spend time around each other on family vacations and holidays. What steps do I need to take to get these two men to stay in the same room for the sake of their grandkids? Thanks.
Well, they don't have to be together. Okay, now for the sake of the grandkids, you'd like to have them be together and get along, but you don't have to take them on vacations together. You don't have to spend holidays together. My recommendation would be, and this is a little bit of a sacrifice on your part, but do one family Thanksgiving and then another family Thanksgiving. And yet, same with Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you're doing. I would suggest that you keep them apart if they hate each other. They don't need to be together.
There's something deep going on there.
Yeah, there is.
There's something.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot to that story.
Do in-laws need to be together aside from weddings with your parents?
No, but I think it's helpful because this kind of sounds like this is affecting.
Right. And for the kids, by the
family.
way, your kids, their grandkids, yes, if you're going to have birthday parties, you just have to keep them apart. You have to be there. Who was that famous boxing ref?
Mills Lane.
There you go, Mills Lane. You have to be Mills Lane. Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting question. My suggestion would be,
Oh, no.
if they don't like each other, Jack Buch always used to say about somebody who fired you, you can't make them like you. You can't make them like each other. Now, the other thing what you can do is you appeal to your dad, have her appeal to her dad, and say, look, this is childish.
Thank you.
Yes. It's about the kids.
Let's
let's grow up.
for the family,
But then
let's grow.
It depends on. So here's the thing. I don't know. He's probably not going to get any details. But if it's about some money,
Yeah.
a lot of money, maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, right? If it's about money and someone owing someone some money and it's a significant amount, yeah, I might have to.
That would be a problem.
Yes.
I might
Yeah.
fight you when I see you. Especially you have money that someone owes you or doesn't give you, and then you see them spending money frivolously on other things. I might ruin the whole party.
I guarantee
Don't invite
you.
me.
I guarantee you that
Don't invite
anybody
me.
with a scintilla of intelligence that has their son married to Carrie Davis's daughter, you aren't fighting Carrie.
Yeah,
You're not.
Leave me alone. I don't want to fight. I just want to go about my day, come to work, coach my kids, go home. That's all I want to do.
I'm so glad you said that, though, Randy. It's like, I don't know, maybe two adults can get in a room and have a conversation. Like, I don't know, adults. Or
just one
that
good
too. Either
fight.
one or
Get it over
two.
with.
You're right. That's a good point, Carrie.
Find some way to trauma bond them.
Mills
Yeah.
Lane.
This is a fun one. Dear Uncle Randy, I recently ran into an old friend's ex-wife. She suggested we get together sometime. I plan on talking to him first, but what do I do if he doesn't like the idea? I've always had strong feelings for her.
Oh, that was a lot to
Always had
unpack
strong
there at the
feelings.
end.
This is, you've always had strong feelings for her.
By the way, this is a top tier Uncle Randy question.
Yeah. Okay, so bros first. Okay, that's
What's the rest of that saying, though, Randy?
yeah. I'm
What's
just
the
saying.
rest of the saying, Randy?
Don't get fired, Randy. Don't get fired. Don't get fired.
No, I think that there's something else.
Bro, before you go out with her.
Oh, that's what the saying is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think we have to be very foundational here because. Did he say it's his best friend or just a friend?
He said it.
He said
Ex-friend.
He said
friend.
old
Old friend. Okay,
so
old friend.
he's already
they're not
done
even-
with that friendship.
They're not even
Yeah.
friends anymore.
Now,
Well,
I do know of a scenario in which one person is dating a friend's ex-wife, and it's fine. I would suggest you go to your old friend first and say, hey, I ran into her. How would you feel about me dating her? And I think any rational, normal person would probably say, hell no. But hopefully your old friend is a guy that says, yeah, I don't have a problem with this.
The fact that he
But
said
ask-
old friends.
Old friend as in no longer a friend.
That's
or
what it sounds like.
older,
Okay.
like been a friend for a long time.
If it's no, that's what I was thinking, friend for a long time. If it's no longer a friend, then there's no holds barred. You go for it.
I was taking that as we've been friends.
Yeah, that's how I took
and
it.
we just don't like hang out a lot anymore.
I
So like
took
I
it
still
as-
consider them a friend, but it's like I never see them. We never really talk, but like I'm still like connected
Well,
to them.
nuance is a big part of this.
True.
If it's somebody that you see on a regular basis,
weird.
then I think you have to ask the question. If it's not, if it's somebody that you see every 6 months, it's an old friend. Hey, how you doing? Then it doesn't matter at all. You ask her out.
Ooh, okay. This is an interesting one. Uncle Randy, my 16-year-old high school junior is talking to a boy with a reputation of being a quote-unquote player. As a dad, how do I handle this?
Carrie likes this question.
So, my daughter, lovely daughter. My oldest daughter she'll be 21 this year. So she went through this in high school, and I had the most honest, realist conversation that I could have with her. And you just explained to her how young men are. You may have to explain to her you were once a young man and how your thought process was as a young man. And so, always respect yourself. If you do that, you'll be fine. If you allow people to do certain things or talk certain ways or engage you in a certain way, they will. And if you don't, they won't. So set a standard for yourself and don't shy away from that.
Yeah,
be who you are, who you have been taught to be, and don't let anybody else tell you anything different.
Right. That is a key. The other thing you have to hope is that your daughter is hoping to become a nun.
So you just push that instead. Say, I know a great nunnery that we could look at. I think that's great advice, CD, because that's the best thing that you could do. Because the worst thing you could do is say no,
Yes.
and then she says, why? You say, because I said so. And I think just leveling and being honest and saying, hey, this is my experience. I'm just trying to give you this advice because obviously I'm your parent and looking out for you. And I think that you try to give everybody a chance.
Does 16-year-old Brooke listen to that?
Did I listen to
Would
it?
would 16-year-old?
I listened to my dad, definitely.
Okay,
There was no
okay.
way I was going to test my dad and my mom. Now, my dad had a very strict rule about if a boy wanted to come date me, they had to come into the house and meet him. There was one boy that was afraid to come inside the house, and my dad just sat in the house. He's like, you're not going anywhere until he comes in.
Good
and
plan.
meets me. And so I think that also says a lot about the boy, too, if they're willing to do that. Or girl as well, is if they're willing to meet the parents, because what are you trying to hide?
Yeah. Now,
What are you worried
I
about?
was the same way. If you're, first of all, if his grades are not to a certain level, hey son, you got to go study.
Instead of trying to date.
No.
Yeah,
This is not for you. You go study. You go take care of that business and then come back. Like you have to set a standard and make sure that they
Yeah.
are all on the same page.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got one more, Matthew? Before we get to take it or leave it? Take it or leave it early today, by the way.
Randy, what's your confidence level the Cardinals will sign a quote-unquote ace?
My confidence level is, I'm going to, should I go A, B, C, D, F, or would you rather I go 1 to 100?
I like percentages. I'm a numbers guy, as we know that.
Okay.
So give me, one
I
through
consider
100.
an ace a front of the rotation guy.
Yes.
I consider Aaron Nola to be the only ace in this class. So I would say 3%.
Oh,
So we're positive. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I don't think Blake Snell, who's a 5 or 6 inning guy, he's not going to do what Aaron Nola did last night. I don't.
Ain't many people going to do.
I don't think that Sonny Gray is going to be pitching in that. Could you imagine the way Sonny Gray would crumble before that crowd last night?
I hope we. You know what? I don't know.
No, he's a nice little pitcher. He is.
Randy.
But
my God.
Here's the thing: if you sign Sonny Gray, you're signing him to be your number one guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You want Sonny Gray pitching in Philadelphia against Zach Wheeler in the opener of a series? Really? Really?
I don't think anybody wants to pitch against Zach Wheeler right now.
I would take Aaron Nola against him.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
And they're teammates.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but there's some guys. But now would I take Dylan Cease?
That's
and
what
would
I was
I make
gonna ask
a trade?
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's got stuff.
Yeah.
And as great as Philadelphia fans are right now, they aren't any better than they were in 2011 when one of the coolest things ever happened. And we can get the sound. We can play it later if you want. But it's Chris Carpenter talking about how in the first inning, he started playing a little game with himself. And he got the first out, and that loud crowd, little quieter. Second out, little quieter. Little third out, little quieter. Comes back, they're going crazy at the start of the second inning. First out, little quieter. Second out, little quieter. Third out. And by the end of the game, they were dead
Silent.
quiet. And Carp wanted to play that game with the Philadelphia fans. Carp was a man. Well, he is a man. But that's what you need to go into Philadelphia. All due respect to Sonny Gray. Should probably change his name from something other to. You don't want Sonny starting game 1 of a playoff series in Philadelphia. But all due respect to the guy, he's not going in and playing that game with himself. He's not.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
The sun gets lit up in Philadelphia.
Implodes.
Coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. And we, by the way, we do appreciate your very deep personal texts to us for Ask Uncle Randy. We really enjoy that segment. But coming up, we've got an early edition of Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Tioli next on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night in Game 2 of the NLCS, the Phillies bats continued to stay hot as they blank the Diamondbacks and scored 10 runs for a big victory there. Tonight in Major League Baseball playoffs, it is Game 3 of the ALCS as the Rangers look to take a commanding 3-0 lead against the Astros. You can catch that game right here on 101 ESPN. Our coverage starts with a 6:30 p.m. pregame. First pitch is scheduled for 7:03. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your road to shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Put it out there. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Jamie Rivers coming up next here on 101 ESPN. Brooke, Gary, Randy, and Matthew. Kids, did you see in the Chargers game the other night the intense Chargers fan, the woman who was going crazy? And a lot of speculation that she was either a paid actor or an AI bot. And her name is Marianne Doe. And she says, no, I'm just an intense Chargers fan. I'm always that way. But Monday Night Football found her and showed her a lot. Take it or leave it. The other LA team would do well to hire some paid actors or get an AI bot as fans.
Didn't they have that? Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
They paid people to come to a pregame show a few years ago, and right in the middle of the Fox pregame show where they paid people to come out and be Rams fans is a giant St. Louis flag.
Oh, my God.
Well done.
Well, take it or leave it, too. I think that that's pretty bad if people put a conspiracy around that if you actually have true fans or not.
Oh, yeah. They're struggling in terms of, like, when you watch Charger games, you see more of the opposing team's fans. I mean, that tends to happen when you move a team from one city to another, and so you don't have the same fan base that the San Diego Chargers have. That they don't have that in LA, and it's unfortunate. They got a pretty good team, but not a good team at the same time.
No, right. And they don't have that. Just seems so unrealistic because they just don't have that level of passion for the Chargers. By the way, Marianne Doe grew up in Minnesota. She's also a Vikings fan. She said, "You don't need to be a one team person."
I thought I saw her with a Vikings jersey on with the same intense look.
Yeah.
That was intriguing.
The report I saw on that is that her son plays for a team called the Vikings, so she bought a Vikings jersey and she goes to his games with Vikings paint on her face.
Wow.
Because she's just a football fan like
she
that.
Did grow up, she told TMZ, though, that she lived in Minnesota for 20 years before moving to LA and became a Minnesota Vikings fan, too.
Very well done.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with having a couple of teams. You wouldn't cheer for the Vikings this year, so, I understand it. We were talking about starting pitchers and trying to figure out, what they are going to do. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals must trade for Dylan Cease because, as you said, Aaron Nola, Shohei is not there. You got who was the other? Jordan Montgomery just made $27 million, $25 million. Cardinals aren't going to probably be able to get it.
And the Yankees apparently are going to be interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
They must trade for Dylan Cease.
I'll take it.
I'm going to take it, too, because at this point, you're just going to have to do that. And I have a feeling, a gut instinct, that probably Sonny Gray will be coming, too, but I feel like that's still not sufficient enough for your starting rotation.
Sonny came home. Great.
Take it or leave it, guys. Yesterday at the Blues practice, it was very intense, very hard practice, and Jordan Kyrou and Brayden Schenn got in a little bit of a shoving match.
A kerfuffle?
A kerfuffle, if you will. There you go. Take it or leave it. That's actually a good thing because you know what happened the last time there was a fight at a practice with the Blues? The Stanley Cup was right around the corner.
Bortuzzo and Sanford, right?
Yes.
Now,
that was not shoving around. That was a literal fight. Now, this one was more shoving around between Brayden Schenn and Jordan Kyrou. Probably Brayden Schenn just really showing like, hey, I'm the captain, bud.
Yeah. And, hey, let's pick it up here, buddy.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah. I'm the captain.
You practice how you play how you practice. So, I'll take it. Yeah, that's good. All right, Matthew, what do we got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. With Nootbaar and Arenado in Japan watching Yoshi start, they're trying to recruit him.
Take it.
I'm going to take it, I guess. Yeah, I'll take it.
Is he a number one?
Oh, Yamamoto?
Yeah.
Yeah, or were they talking specific? Yeah, they were talking about Yoshi, right?
Yeah.
Because also Shota Imanaga, we talked to Lars about him too. I think there's definitely some recruiting, but Yamamoto's going to be expensive. I mean, $200 million likely for him.
And he's the one that's compared to Darvish,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And Yu Darvish, in his first year in the United States of America, 16-9 with a 3.9 and threw 191. If you could get that sort of a performance out of a guy in his first year from Japan, that would be awesome. I'd take it.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. The talk of Molina coming into coach is a front office ploy to draw good pitching, and their hope is to bring back Monty.
I don't think it's a ploy.
I can't take the whole thing.
think
Well,
it's a
I would
ploy.
say their hope is to bring back Monty. And I would think that there would be people that are intrigued by the idea of Yadi or Molina being on the coaching staff. But pitchers used to want to come here because Yadi was their catcher.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're not going to sign until you know he signed, if that's what you're looking
Right.
for. Like, you can talk about it all day. When is the ink dry?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Let me know.
You got to have your coaching staff set by
Yeah.
the end of the World Series.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there was also a report that came out last night out of Puerto Rico where a reporter talked to Yachty a few days ago, and he confirmed that those reports are true and that he's in talks and that it would happen sooner rather than later. But they're still figuring out maybe if that is going to be something that happens with him, with a role either in management, on the coaching staff. If not, then he's just happy to help from Puerto Rico.
I'm glad he's happy to help.
Yeah. Any help
Yeah,
would
he
be
can
great.
just have FaceTime with Contreras.
Oh,
Be good.
yeah. There you go.
Because Yachty went
Does he
over
want to
and played first
FaceTime with the
base.
whole team too?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Weekly FaceTimes.
Take it or leave it. The Phillies offense buzzsaws all the way to the World Series win.
Take it.
Cool.
Take it.
It feels that way.
The offense and the pitching, let's not leave those guys out. 'Cause
I don't know.
If you score 10 and give up 0,
But
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave it because I've been sticking by the Rangers. I still think the Rangers are going to
I
win it
got
all.
the
I'm all in.
Astros
and
coming back in that
I
series.
wouldn't be surprised if Houston came back. And
Yeah.
I really think that because of the depth of their starting pitching, I think I would take Houston over Philly. I think a series between Texas and Philadelphia would be epic. I think it'd be great.
Yes.
Because the best offense in the National League against the best offense in the American League. And then you have two clear-cut top of the rotation guys.
Yeah.
Each team does. And then it comes down to what is Scherzer versus Suarez, if indeed you're able to get your top guys going. It'd be pretty fun. So you'd have Montgomery and Wheeler. I think that'd be really interesting. And then you'd have Eovaldi and Nola, really interesting. Scherzer and Suarez, really interesting. And then you work from there. And does Philadelphia, do they go with Lorenzen in a game 4? And who does Texas? Do they go Dane Dunning in game 4? I think it's really an interesting, I don't know if you start Dunning in a game 4. And you have John Gray back, too. So there's a lot of different ways that Bruce Bochy can go. And I have immense faith in Bruce Bochy being able to win a World Series. I don't know why, but I think that he could.
He's done it a few times.
Oh, maybe that's it. Thank you, Matthew.
It's because his voice sounds like a grizzled country singer. It just gives
he
you,
was
gives you,
living
it
in
just gives
Nashville?
you,
He's Lou Brown.
just gives you some kind of confidence.
Let me call you tomorrow. I got the guy on the other line interested in some white walls. All right. Thank you, Matthew. Coming up next, Jamie Rivers on 101 ESPN. returning our friend, blues analyst on Valley Sports and co-host of the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN, the one, the only Jamie Rivers. Hopefully we'll be able to track Jamie down as the Blues get ready to take on the Arizona Coyotes tomorrow night. Coyotes have started off the season 1-2. Brooke was over at Blues practice yesterday as they get ready for this game, and they are sitting there with a 2-1, or well, a 1-0-1 record in the two games played for 3 points. Colorado has played 3; they're 3-0. Minnesota is 2-1, and Chicago has played 4 games; they're 2-2. So you really can't take points into consideration here. But Brooke, what did you take out of what you saw yesterday at the Blues skate?
Well, it was purposely a very physical and hard practice. That's what Craig Berube wanted to see from his guys, and then that's where you had the moment with Jordan Kyrou and Brayden Schenn just kind of getting in a little bit of a shoving match. Berube actually kind of likes that kind of stuff. He didn't have a problem with it when he talked about it afterwards. It was just more or less that he wants to see that physicality. And with Brayden Schenn, he's doing what he needs to do as a captain. Also, the other big thing of note is that Pavel Buchnevich, I think the best update possible is that he's now considered just day-to-day. He didn't skate yesterday because Berube said that he's still feeling sore right now with his shoulder. But I think day-to-day is the best possibility. I would say that he's likely out Thursday against the Coyotes. But for now, they have Brandon Saad staying with that top line with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. And good news, CD, because I know this is your new favorite guy outside of Tyler Tucker, Alexei Toropchenko moving up into the top 6 role. So he's going to be on that second line. And I really like that idea. And that's something that I was hoping that we would talk to Jamie, and maybe we can talk to Robert Thomas about it later, about Alexei Toropchenko, him getting that opportunity. I like that because he just brings such a physical presence, and you see him on the ice. You feel him on the ice. We've talked about that. The guys that you notice when they're out there, Alexei Toropchenko, you feel his presence out there. I like him being in that top 6 group.
Well, he's a Berube player. First of all, Kerry loves the size, right? He's maybe 6'3" or 6'5" and about 230, 240. He's a big fella. But the other part of him is there's a lot of big players. Like Logan Brown was a big player that didn't really use his size a lot, right? Toropchenko is a guy that uses his size, and that's what Berube wants. He wants big fellas that will bang somebody, and Toropchenko is more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I like the fact that, I told you, I like the fact that he was a younger player willing to speak about what was going on last year, not shying away from that moment and holding his teammates accountable, holding himself accountable. That to me is a leader, a person that doesn't matter what year you are in the league, doesn't matter if you're a rookie, a second year, 15 years, whatever it is, the standard is the standard. We all had to adhere to that, and if we're not playing to that level, Mike Thomas said that 100,000 times. We all have to adhere to it, and if we don't, we're going to lose games. So I like that fact, and what Brooks said, he does show up on, not just because he's a large human being, he's actually has presence when he's out there on the ice. So I think moving him up on the line and give him opportunities to have more time on the ice and hopefully put some pucks in the back of nets.
So he'll be on that second line with Brayden Schenn and Jacob Verana. And so I'll be really
go with here. Let's.
I like Jakub.
I want to say Jakub, but the fact that he says Jacob, I'm trying to respect that. But
in the Enterprise on Saturday, they said Jakob when they introduced him. Introduced him coming out of the ice. So I mean, I think we then take the knowledge we have and we run with Jakub because that's how we know it's supposed to be pronounced. And I say we spearhead Jakub being comfortable. Hey, you don't have to change your name just for us. We can figure this stuff out. We're not that, we're Americans, but we're not that bad.
And maybe that's his assumption is that we just can't figure it out. That's kind of like Tekoa Roby. Remember that whole issue that we were trying to figure with that. But it will be interesting to see how these lines work out. And another thing that Berube talked about was the shot blocking, and they've had 35 now through 2 games. But Berube said that he feels like they still can do more. So I think that's really kind of setting the tone of his expectations with this group this season.
Yeah. We kind of have a tendency, by the way, to take for granted that the Blues make the playoffs almost all the time. The Arizona Coyotes have had a great deal of difficulty surviving in the Valley. They've made the playoffs once in their last 11 years. They're playing in a 5,000-seat college arena. They had their arena plan shot down by voters last year. And by the way, in Tempe, the voters voted down a plan that wasn't going to cost them any money. It wasn't going to increase taxes. So you wonder how much the general populace in Arizona likes hockey. But in the games that I've been to, they've always had a really good fan base. I think their hockey fan base is really strong. But, man, when you're playing in a 5,000-seat arena, it's hard to generate enough revenue to build a team like the Blues do year to year. And so even this year, Arizona, I know that they've given them. Remember the 7-game series that we played against them in the 2021,
Yes.
where we had to play them 7 times in a row, and they gave the Blues all kinds of trouble. For whatever reason, the Blues always are given trouble by Arizona. So you can't, if you're the Blues, just say, oh, it's only the Arizona Coyotes coming to town. The Blues are a team that is going to have to exhibit great effort every single night.
And what do you think that, I mean, obviously you've won one, lost one, both of them been in overtime. What is the thing you need to see most, other than the power play? What is the one thing you need to see most when the Blues are out there on Thursday?
Scorers need to score, right?
That's exactly.
Shoot the puck?
Yeah.
Start there?
Right,
Yeah.
and Robert Thomas needs to score. Kyrou has one. You haven't seen anything from Verana yet. You need to have that. You need to have Schenner step up and score. You need to have the people that are capable of scoring. And I think one of the problems the Blues have, and Buchnevich being out early is alarming because they don't have scoring depth like they had 2 or 3 years ago,
Yes.
where they had, 10, 20 goal scorers or something like that. They don't have that sort of scoring now. So their scorers need to score.
And that's just going to take more time and development with this young core. We were talking about it yesterday, the difference between the Blues and the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. You have that depth with the other team. You have more established scorers, and I think the Blues are still kind of building that up here.
Yeah, and it's experience and it's meshing with teammates in
Yes.
the case of a guy like Verana. And we know that Jordan Kyrou is going to score his 37, right? Jordan Kyrou needs to get up to about 45. He needs to score a lot more. Thomas, he needs to be a 20, 25-goal guy. He can't be a 15-goal guy. And if you have a group of guys that score, 5 guys that score 5 more than you expect them to, that's 25 goals on the season. That's a big deal.
I would like to see more shots on goal, more opportunities taken. Obviously, the power play not being great thus far. Get that corrected. I don't know if it's – I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the gelling part. Like you said, it's new players, a couple of new players figuring some things out, new systems. But all in all, just play hard and show up. Because I feel like, you talked about Schenn and Kyrou getting into it. It's been a couple of times where you're trying to find out where Kyrou is. And you're like looking for him. You know he's there, but is he there? Like you talk about Toropchenko, you see him and you feel his presence. You need more of a presence from Kyrou on both ends for this team to be successful.
And I don't know if this is going to happen with this particular edition of the Blues. I know the physical talent is there, but since the Blues won the Cup, generally they've gotten really good offensive production out of the blue line guys. Krug should score. Parayko should score. Now, I'm not saying they should be 60-point guys. Nick Leddy should be a guy that puts points on the board. And I don't know with the system set up the way it is that they're going to get production out of their defense, but it sure would be a benefit if you could get, for the season, 40, 45 goals out of your defenseman.
You know who could have helped you with that?
Who's that?
Callie Rosen.
Callie Rosen.
There you go.
We'll miss him. We'll miss him.
No respect for the guy who got the first goal of the Blues season.
Tyler Tucker is my guy now. I'm rolling with him.
I got to talk to Marco Scandella yesterday, who's with Tyler Tucker, and he had nothing but amazing things to say about Tyler Tucker.
Very nice.
Callie Rosen.
We'll miss you.
Hole number 43.
You worked your butt off.
Had one of the best plus-minus seasons in the history of the National Hockey League last year.
Can't ask for much more, Randy.
No, he did everything that you would have expected the Calais Rosen.
You say shoot the puck, he shoots the puck.
You say play defense, he plays defense.
He does it all.
Yeah.
Or did it all.
Did it all. But
Not here, though.
Got to do it every year.
Every year.
Yeah, he can do it in Springfield.
Every training camp.
Yeah. We'll see him. He'll play a key role for your St. Louis Blues.
All right.
He will be back. All right. Thanks to Jamie Rivers for that great segment here on 101 ESPN.
Jamie, where do you think he is? I saw him yesterday at practice. He's a booked and busy man.
He's a really busy guy.
We changed it up on him. He has a busy day. He's got a dentist appointment later. It's
I am.
Shout out to Jamie.
And by the way, on our little, I don't know if you,
We'll
do you
pour
guys
one out.
have a grid or let me see.
No, you're the only one get the grid.
Okay, I'm the only one that gets the grid. So take a look.
We're not special enough to get the grid.
How
do you know? We might want the grid. I want to know what Randy.
You don't need the grid.
7:45. You have Jamie Rivers.
It says Jaime Rivers.
Oh.
Oh.
Say Jaime.
Jaime Rivers, yeah. So maybe that's
Jaime. We didn't call
we
Jaime.
booked
You
the
dialed the
wrong
wrong number.
person. Yes.
There we go.
That's
That
what
was the
happened.
problem.
Blame Game of Thrones.
Is that what it is?
Coming up next
thought it was
here on
about Jamie.
101 ESPN, what was the worst trade that's been made in Major League Baseball in the last 5 or 6 years? We'll tell you what it could be, and it doesn't include the Cardinals. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, kids, let's talk real estate for a minute. If you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent, take it from me and get to know my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Here is why you should call, because Gloria already has the buyers for your home. If you're going to sell, you need buyers, right? And Gloria is able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because she already has buyers. Thousands of ready buyers with over 20 years of buyers in an exclusive database looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. This is how Gloria nets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Gloria is going to sell for more and sell faster when compared to your average agent. Gloria Liu is not your average agent. She's St. Louis local real estate authority with 20 years of experience, hundreds of homes sold in just the past 12 months alone, and the only agent that I'd trust to sell my home. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. This is if you want to sell your home. She's going to sell it. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. It's 8:04 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And don't forget, you can watch us on our Air Alliance Team Studio Cam. We're on the old YouTube. All you need to do is go to youtube.com, type in 101 ESPN STL, and you can watch us do this fabulous show as well. Well, fabulous for some people. It's not everybody. Brooke, Carrie, and Randy. Back in 2017, the Cardinals traded Sandy Alcantara, reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League, Zach Gallen, Magnolia Sierra, and Daniel Castano to Miami for Marcell Ozuna, who was coming off of, how this happened, I don't know, but he was coming off of a Gold Glove Silver Slugger season. He had 37 homers, 124 RBIs, and 912 OPS. He had an unbelievable year. He was one of the best hitters in the National League. And actually, when you look at the Cardinals' numbers that he put up, not horrible. You could live with what Marcell Ozuna gave you, and you would have really liked to have had him grow up. And I don't know if the guy is still grown up, but he was in Atlanta. He's been a pretty good hitter, especially this year. 905 OPS, 40 homers, 100 RBIs. Year before that, 23 homers, 56 RBIs. He did have legal issues that prevented him from playing the full season in 2021. But in 2020, his first year away from St. Louis, the COVID year, he led the National League in homers and RBIs and in total bases. With the Cardinals, Marcell Ozuna was 262 hitter, only a 777 OPS, but hit 52 home runs, drove in 177 in his 2 years here in St. Louis. Now, that is a bad trade. There's no doubt about it, that the Cardinals didn't get anything for Ozuna, and Alcantara is out there as the Cy Young Award winner. By the way, underwent Tommy John, will miss next season. And Gallen is going to be in the final three for the Cy Young Award this year. But, man, look at what happened to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers just don't make mistakes. But on August 1st of 2016, they traded Josh Fields, or they traded Yordan Alvarez. The Dodgers traded Yordan Alvarez to the Astros for pitcher Josh Fields. Now, Fields was okay in L.A. for a 3-year stretch. He was in 124 games, had a 2.61 ERA. But Yordan Alvarez has become one of the best hitters in all of baseball, a career 978 OPS and 162 game averages of 43 homers and 128 RBIs. As bad as the Ozuna, Alcantara, Gallen trade looks for the Cardinals, does the Alvarez trade look even worse for the Dodgers?
Yeah, the thing is that the recency bias in me right now wants to say you need starting pitching. And so that trade looks really bad in this moment because what are you going to have to do this offseason? Go get some starting pitching for the Cardinals. But that was just straight up highway robbery, what they were able to pull off with Yordan Alvarez, because it shows a deficiency where the Dodgers didn't properly evaluate or know what they had. Because the Astros saw something in Yordan Alvarez. Obviously, it has panned out. And initially, LA shot down that whole trade proposal because they thought that they were asking for Yadier Alvarez, which was a pitcher that they signed for $16 million out of Cuba. And they're like, no, wait, hear us out. We're talking about Yordan Alvarez. And they're like, oh, you mean the guy that we signed for $2 million? Yeah, sure, you can have him. For Josh Fields? Sure, yeah, we'll do this. So that shows that the Astros did a better job of evaluating and really identifying talent better than the Dodgers in this situation. That's why that one, to me, is way worse, because when an organization is able to one-up you in that and say, we can basically scout out your guys better than you, I think that says a lot.
I think when you're looking at a trade, it's a crapshoot. You never know. You assume you made a great trade and you're going to get something in return, but you never know. I think with the Marcell Ozuna, they were clamoring, we needed a bat and an outfielder in that moment. So you trade away a couple of guys that we haven't had an opportunity, you don't know much about. Okay, well, cool. Those guys go on to be really, really good Cy Young Award winners and in the Cy Young Award race. And then Marcell Ozuna, who was really good then, comes here and doesn't perform up to the contract or to the standard that you thought he would. And so it's never, you never know. And that's the frustrating part with trades. I think it was a good trade at the time. As you said, people were more upset about Jose Martinez leaving than anybody else.
Or Rosarena, that trade, yeah.
Yeah, Rosarena, that's what I'm thinking of. But either way, the fact that you got Marcell Ozuna to come back, it's like, man, you needed that at that time. It didn't go well. And sometimes, again, a change of scenery helps people. Marcell Ozuna here, not great. Marcell Ozuna in Atlanta, it's been pretty good.
And
so
it's been a difference.
how can you plan for that to happen.
Right.
You can't.
And I think one of the things the Cardinals failed on with Marcell Ozuna was either they were willing to bet that he was going to mature here, or they didn't know about his lack of maturity. And as it turns out, in 2014, he had gotten into a fight. He was out with Carlos Martinez and Oscar Taveras on the east side and gotten into a fight. They had to know about the lack of maturity, didn't they?
How did they not know about that is the thing. I remember when that video came out, and Marcell Ozuna, just from a clubhouse perspective, I noticed his personality kind of changed whenever that report came out. And the video came out in the investigation with Marcell Ozuna and Carlos Martinez. Even though it had happened before he came, remember there was some more information that came out. And then Marcell started to shut down after that. Before that, he was very kind of happy, upbeat with media members. Then once that started happening, he wasn't talking to anybody. It kind of felt like his demeanor changed. I don't know if that also affected him during his time in St. Louis, because you're in the same area where that whole incident happened, and it's hard to kind of run away from the investigation, what's going on. Yeah. So when you're talking about the change of scenery, getting away from where that situation happened, but he did get into some more trouble in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like he's running away from his problems. It seems like the Braves have just figured out a way to manage it a little bit better, which is still not great in that whole situation.
Also, I mean, Atlanta, St. Louis, those are two different cities. Like, Atlanta has multiple sports for you to think about, multiple things going on. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is the main focal point here. So if you are a Cardinal and you're getting into those troubles and getting into those situations, it's probably going to be more magnified than if you're an Atlanta Brave in the city of Atlanta getting in whatever trouble. Now, I'm not condoning any of it, but I'm just saying it's probably more magnified here because St. Louis Cardinals, that's kind of what everyone is paying attention to.
One point, Brooke, you talked about the Cardinals' need for pitching, and they're chasing starting pitching after giving up Gallen and Alcantara and Castano. The Dodgers went out and traded for Mookie Betts. They went out and signed Freddie Freeman. Yeah. It's been very similar. They're chasing hitting because they didn't have Alvarez in their lineup. And both teams will wind up spending a lot more than they needed to because they traded young players, for not nothing, but very little.
Yeah. Another point, and somebody texted us in, is that Marcell Ozuna did deal with an injury, as we remember, with the Cardinals. And so that, I think there was a culmination of things that happened during his time here in St. Louis. And you mentioned the numbers. It's not bad. He was a slightly above average hitter. It's just not the production that you were seeing while he was with Miami.
Right. And I think the Cardinals really dodged a bullet in that they didn't get Giancarlo Stanton, because they really wanted him, and they had the deal. And Stanton barely plays for the Yankees, right? He only wanted to play for ironically, the four teams that have been in the LCS that year: Cubs, Houston, Yankees. Let's see, Houston, Yankees, Cubs, Dodgers were the four that he was willing to go to. And he wouldn't come here. He wouldn't go to the Giants. And both franchises, Cardinals and Giants, dodged a bullet by not giving up a ton of young talent for Stanton, who just doesn't play. He's a great hitter when he plays, but he doesn't play. And by the way, the Yankees had the advantage up until the last couple of years of the DH for him. Cardinals, he would have had to play the outfield all the time, and they wouldn't have been able to go get Goldie or Arenado if they were paying, and they were going to pay the full contract for Giancarlo Stanton. So they got lucky there, and they may have gotten lucky that Ozuna did walk away from them.
Would you say that maybe some teams got lucky not signing Juan Soto as well, St. Louis Cardinals? Or do you feel like it's still too early to make that distinction?
I think it's too early.
Because the Cardinals would have had to give up a lot to get him. But I don't think he performed as great as we thought he would going over to San Diego.
He's cost himself a few bucks.
Yeah.
But he might get moved again. He might get moved during these winter meetings. He could very easily find himself in another spot.
He's only 24, so he's got time.
Padres have overspent, and now they got to dump some salaries.
Yeah, they do. They're going to cut, $50 million from their payroll?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is today's Fresh Take on 101 ESPN. Coming up at The Athletic, Katie Wu lays out what the Cardinals are prepping for in the offseason. But even if they get what they want, is it enough? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
Yeah, somebody...
10,000-mile-per-year lease. 2.9% APR financing for 48 months is $2,209 per 1,000 financed. Must finance with Kia Finance America, plus tax, title, and license. Ends 10/31/23. A brand new state-of-the-art facility. Over 150 new Kias available. Even bigger fall savings. Come see why more people are choosing the all-new Offenburg Kia in Shiloh, Illinois. Save with over $7,400 Kia customer cash rebate on new Kia EV6s. With no down payment, you can lease a new 2023 Kia Telluride EX all-wheel drive for only $457 a month for 31 months with zero security deposit and $34.51 due at signing. Or get low 2.9% APR financing for 48 months on fuel-efficient new Kia Fortes. Come see why more people are choosing Offenburg Kia in Shiloh. Offenburg Kia, off I-64 at exit 16 at the new Offenburg Auto Mall in Shiloh, Illinois, or offenburgkia.com.
Berg is the word.
The Athletic, our friend Katie Wu has a piece up about the Cardinals and their plans for the early weeks of the offseason. And there are several things that Katie notes that the Cardinals want to do. Number one, finalize next year's Major League coaching staff. And we'll get to the details of these in a moment. Number two, identify their preferred free agent targets. And number three, confirm which players they're open to trading. Let's start with the coaching staff, because I think I've made it very clear that I think the Cardinals could do a better job of coaching their players. And Katie mentions that the Cardinals coaching staff relative to other major league coaching staffs is pretty small. The players have complained that sometimes there isn't enough coaching for them, but I don't think they can only bring in numbers. I think they need to bring in quality and experience. And this is one thing where bringing in Yadi makes a difference, but I don't think you can stop at Yadi or Molina. I do think the Cardinals need somebody who has the experience of working with making pitchers better through not only their approach in terms of spin rate and max effort, but also taking the approach of, okay, mentally, I need to be tough. I need to become a horse. I need to be willing to give 7 innings. And also, little mechanical issues. I got your guy, Cardinals. His name is Chris Carpenter. He's in your Hall of Fame. He was asked when he came back at the end of the season, hey, what are you doing for the Angels? He said, I'm teaching pitchers how to pitch. And one thing about Chris Carpenter, you know he's a horse. You know he's got the attitude. I remember a story, and Wayno will remember the year. We could ask Wayno about it. But there was a start in Cincinnati, early season start in Cincinnati. And Wayno gets knocked out early. And after he does, Carp says, hey, let's go back and look at some video. Comes back and says, here's what you're doing. Shows Wayno exactly what the issue is mechanically. I remember asking Adam, how long did it take you before you recognized what your problem was? He said 1 pitch. All he had to do was see 1 pitch on video, and he turned his season around. Chris Carpenter understood the nuances of Adam Wainwright's delivery, like he does with a lot of people's delivery. Maybe it's not Chris Carpenter, but the Cardinals, I believe, would do well to get a guy that young pitchers will listen to because of his pedigree as a major leaguer and that understands not only the intricate aspects of spin rate and the analytics aspect of things, but somebody who's actually done it at the major league level.
Yeah, I think if you have one thing that I know for sure, if you don't have enough coaches, small things kind of slip through and get missed. So if you're not having And when you have Chris Carpenter, when you have Yadier Molina, you probably don't have to pay coaches because you're paying players that are essentially coaches on the roster. So, you have those guys that are there that can correct those things based on how a person is performing in that moment. And so I think the Cardinals are going to have to take a hard look at themselves and say, what areas could we be better at and should we be better in going forward? The talks of bringing Yadier back in some capacity, I think, will be extremely beneficial for this team because he sees and knows everything. He was the ultimate corrector. He could get everything and everyone in line where they needed to be, when they needed to be, and your coaches didn't have to do as much. So I think there was a lot of reliance on Yadier Molina over the last 20 years. Getting him back in the fold would help. But just being better all in all, I think every person, whether on the staff, on the roster, has to be a better version of themselves for 2024 because it just wasn't good enough. Everybody, from starting with Nolan Arenado not fielding well to start the season, not hitting well, just every single person has to be better for 2024.
And Yadier Molina coming into your organization instantly makes it better. And it gives me a little sliver of hope. I want to be high on hopium about the Cardinals this offseason, and it gives me a little sliver of hope knowing that they are pursuing Yadier Molina. I think that that's good on the Cardinals organization, recognizing that they need some more coaching depth, some more people who have been there and have done that have that experience. And Yadier Molina is the guy that has all that experience and also has been helping these guys in the past. Just seeing how hands-on he was really special. And to add some more validity to what Katie Wu and Martin Kilcoyne, what they reported about this, I told you guys about this earlier. There was a reporter in Puerto Rico that spoke to Yadier Molina a few days ago asking him about this. And Yadi said, I had the opportunity when I went to see Adam Wainwright a couple weeks ago to sit down with management, and a few points were talked about. We hope that if something happens, it will happen soon. And if not, then I would still be willing to continue helping them when they need me while I'm here in Puerto Rico. They have the knowledge of my willingness to take a position in management or the coaching staff.
So that would be a huge benefit for the Cardinals. If I never thought that Yadi would want to spend that much time coaching. But if he's open to it, then the Cardinals can do better. And by the way, for an organization that doesn't have an organizational catching instructor, it'd be a pretty good start. Now, the next thing that Katie writes about that the Cardinals need to do is identify their preferred free agents. Sonny Gray is at the top of their list, according to Katie. He and Aaron Nola are believed to be two of the top starting pitchers on the market, along with Blake Snell. And don't forget Yoshi Yamamoto, the right-hander. And there's one other pitcher that would be available, Jordan Montgomery, whom the Yankees apparently have interest in. So the Cardinals are going to identify some potential free agents. My question would be, of that group, who are the Cardinals going to be willing to pay the price for? I can't imagine. First of all, I have to believe the Phillies, especially if they win the World Series, are going to do everything they can to keep Nola around.
Yes.
The Dodgers are going to need starting pitching. The Yankees, as noted with Montgomery, are going to be in the market for starting pitching. The Red Sox, are the Cardinals going to be willing to swim in the waters with the big market teams and be willing to pay a starting pitcher? But by the way, Sonny Gray said it's not about money for him. It's about feeling wanted.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure money helps you feel even more wanted, right? Because if you have a lot of money, then you feel wanted. Yeah. I think that with Aaron Nola, the Phillies are going to say, you're going to have to pry him out of our cold, dead hands, just like Mozeliak said about a player in the past. But Bob Nightingale reported a few days ago that supposedly in the talks with the Phillies and Aaron Nola, when they were looking at it, that he was wanting 8 years, $200 million. If that offer comes across the Cardinals, is that something that you guys would be willing to sign up for with Aaron Nola?
In a blink. Yeah, because I'm thinking that we're probably looking at $33 million a year rather than a $25 million AAV. I think he's getting into that territory where he's $33 million a year. Ohtani's injury and Urias's legal problems increased Aaron Nola's value dramatically.
Yeah, because you're going to have multiple suitors as opposed to having more guys on the market. Aaron Nola is the guy right now on the market. And so when you hear Sonny Gray say money is not the ultimate factor, I want to be somewhere where I want to be, where I'm wanted, that sounds like a future St. Louis Cardinal for me. And I know, Randy, that's not a player that you think is a – you don't think he's a 1A type of pitcher?
No.
You think he's a 2?
I think he's a 2, yeah.
Okay, so then the Cardinals would – but I don't see where else they're going to go because, again, as you said, Aaron Nola is going to get paid a whole lot of money from somebody, going to get a whole lot of money, an offer from someone, Blake Snell as well. And so can the Cardinals play in those same waters as the New York Yankees, as the Los Angeles Dodgers? Can they play in that market with them? Are they willing to go above and beyond? Because that's essentially what it's going to have to be if they want to try to get Jordan Montgomery back, if they want to try to go get an Aaron Nola, because Philly, another team, going to pay good money to keep him around. Are the Cardinals willing to go that route?
One thing Mo has done in the past, by the way, is make deals at the general managers' meetings. He made the Hayward deal at the GM's meetings. I think he might have made the Goldie deal at the GM's meetings. Those are set November 7th through 9th in Scottsdale this year. The Cardinals might be ahead of the curve because they have players to trade, and that moves to Katie's next topic, which is confirm which players they're open to trading. I would sooner, if I were the Cardinals, determine which players I'm not willing to trade.
Yeah.
That makes your life a whole lot easier, doesn't it?
Well, and she kind of identifies that in the article. It's the same names that you would think of where it seems like Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, but I'm sure a lot of different things could change, and she even mentions that. But then she brings up the names of Tommy Edman as one of those and Nolan Gorman as being possibilities to be moved. So you do have to identify that. She also mentioned that Brendan Donovan seems like a guy that they're not going to be willing to part with, and that's been the conversation we've been having, right, is would you have to choose between Brendan Donovan and Tommy Edman, both very versatile utility players, essentially the same skill set, but I think Brendan Donovan has a higher upside offensively.
The interesting part for me is it's not about what the Cardinals are willing to trade. I mean, to a degree, it's what other teams want in return. Like, if you expect something great in return, Dylan Carlson, I think, is a great guy. I don't think that teams are clamoring for a guy that has been injured for the last 2 years. Tyler O'Neill, great baseball player, top 10 MVP candidate when healthy. But if I have to say all of that and then say when healthy, I don't think teams are clamoring for him either. So when you're looking at what another team wants in return, I think Alec Burleson is a good guy. But is that something that a team is clamoring for to give you a number 2 starting pitcher or a potential ace? No. There's a few names on this list that teams will want if you want something big in return. Now, if you're just trying to fill out your roster with guys that can help in different positions, yes, they may want a Dylan Carlson. They may want a Tyler O'Neill. They may be looking at an Alec Burleson or a Juan Yepes. But if you're looking for the star, they're looking for one of your potential stars as well.
So let me just toss this out to you. Goldie's made it clear he wants to be here. He is going to invoke his no-trade clause if they try to move him.
Yes.
Not sure about Arenado. I don't know about Wilson Contreras. I would think that the Cardinals would want to keep Walker at all costs, win at all costs. Is there anybody else? One of the young catchers, I'm willing to move him. Donovan, I'm willing to move. Burleson, you mentioned I'm willing to move. So I've got Walker.
Tommy Edman?
When I'm willing to move Tommy Edman if I can get the right thing back. Walker, Wynn, Goldie. Everything else for me is open because of I don't know what is available to me. Now, is it going to cost a lot if I'm going to give up some of these guys? Yes. But those are the only 3 that I would. Is there a pitcher that I'm missing here where you say an untouchable pitcher?
No.
Tin cans?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
You haven't seen them.
Yeah. So
Same thing with Gord Graceffo and Michael McGreevy. I mean, and they would be asking for somebody like that.
Yeah.
And it may be a situation in 3 years, you're looking back and you got another Sandy Alcantara. Like, oh, what do we do?
Right.
You don't know when you're trading, but what you do know is what you need in this moment. And what this team needs in this moment is starting pitching.
And I don't have, as evidence there, if I'm Mo and Gersh and the Cardinals, I don't have many untouchables at all if I can rebuild my rotation and my bullpen, because I am going to be trading from my offense to supplement my pitching, and hopefully my defense will get better too. That's one other coaching aspect to this is you need to find a way to get your defense better.
Or you can develop the guys you got and don't trade anybody.
Well,
how about that?
They say that if you want to win next year, you might have to move some guys. Yeah. It's going to be painful. You have to.
You're going
to
be in a situation where you're looking at guys be stars elsewhere, and you're going to be frustrated.
Hopefully they'll do something.
Hopefully like a Josh Fields situation.
Maybe not.
Yep.
Coming up,
it's a crapshoot.
Yep. The Blues play Arizona tomorrow night. Robert Thomas getting ready for practice. He'll join us next on 101 ESPN. A late fight today, by the way, here on the opening drive. Hey, did you know that the inside of your home can be more polluted than the air outside? Dust and allergens and contaminants can build up in your air ducts, and that affects your health and comfort. Have you ever considered getting your air ducts cleaned? Well, if not, now is the time. Hoffman Brothers does it, and as winter approaches, you're going to be inside even more, and breathing clean air is so important to your overall health. Hoffman Brothers offers air duct cleaning services. Give them a call today to find out more about your air ducts being cleaned, and they'll come out and they'll do a great job of it. The number for Hoffman Brothers is 314-664-3011, 314-664-3011, or you can visit them on the web and make your appointment there at hoffmanbros.com. And don't forget that with the cold weather approaching, you need to get that furnace checked out. You don't want to be sitting there in the middle of January. It's cold in St. Louis, and your furnace goes down. Hoffman Brothers will make sure that your furnace is good to go for the season. They'll make sure it's perfectly cleaned, and you'll really love working with them. Hoffman Brothers, 314-664-3011, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night, Game 2 of the NLCS, and the Phillies keep rolling 10-0 over the Diamondbacks. Aaron Nola with a great game, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, and of course, no runs allowed. ALCS Game 3 is tonight. You can catch it right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 for that 7:03 first pitch. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Thomas score! Getting you inside the Blues locker room. What a goal by Robert Thomas! It's time now for Blues forward Robert Thomas on the opening drive.
Driven by Pure Performance, the only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis, Randy Carricker, and during the break, Brooke asked me, she said, Randy, should you still be here because you got the fight?
No, why are you going to expose me like this, Randy?
We are creatures of habit.
I said, no, we got Robert Thomas coming up. And Robert, I don't know how often you listen, but we've got a little thing at 8:30, usually called The Fight, where I come in and answer trivia questions against a listener. My question, first of all, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good. Is there a player in the Blues dressing room that, whether it's in the room or on a flight or on the road or in practice, just has little facts, little trivia things? Who's the best at that? Or who comes up with stuff like that? Said, hey, did you know, for example, like, hey, did you see McDavid scored his 50th goal last night? The only other guy to do that is player X. Is there a fact guy in the Blues dressing room?
Yeah, I would say my first couple years, whenever I'd get to the rink, you know, a couple hours before games or whatever, we'd have snack, and there'd always be, you know, like Family Feud or one of those games on. It was one of those hard trivia games that I would never know the answers to, but Fortuzo and Bozak would always play it, and they'd they'd be competitive against each other. So I'd say Bortuzzo would be your guy.
Well, Robert, congratulations, obviously, for you guys getting the first win of the season the other day. What was that feeling like helping the Blues win in the shootout victory against the Kraken?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Nice to be back home playing in front of our fans. And, it was an exciting game back and forth. And we've been in 2 shootouts this year, so it's nice to not be 0-2 in shootouts.
So just kind of describe to us how those shootout situations work out. Do you know going into that situation in that game that you likely will be the one to go, or is it just right before Berube looks at you and say, hey, go out there?
No, he usually just kicks you on the butt and you just go shoot. So I didn't shoot in the one before, so I had a feeling I was probably going to be going in this one.
Do you like the shootout style? Do you like finishing a game, winning or losing a game in that manner?
I'd rather be a goal scored, but with everything going on, I think you kind of can't play out the games for as long as some of them would take without a shootout.
I got you.
And do you know, Robert, take us through a shootout. Are you thinking about what you're going to do once you get to the goalie as you're circling the puck? How do you go about planning your shot?
I usually, a lot of people usually have a couple options. They usually take a similar route and kind of see what the goalie's doing. I got to go third, so I watched the first 2, and I pretty much knew what I was going to do before I even stepped on the ice. And actually, Steve Ott kind of gave me a little advice on that one from what he saw when Kyrou was shooting. So, a lot of credit to him. I think he was the one that kind of gave me that move.
Robert, you all played 2 games in a couple of days and then had a 5-day layoff. How do you feel about that time off and you ready to get back out there and get to not playing against your own guys but against someone else?
Yeah, it definitely sucks. You get your first 2 games underway pretty quickly, and you're just ready to keep playing games. It almost feels like you're back in training camp right now, which kind of sucks. So we're itching, and I know we got another break coming up after the next road trip, and but after that, then we're full steam ahead.
And so there was a positive coming out of practice yesterday on Pavel Buchnevich. It looks like he's just day-to-day right now, likely will not be playing on Thursday, but still I think that's probably the best-case scenario for him. So you guys will have Brayden Schenn on the top line with you. What has that been like, having Sod up there?
Yeah, he's someone that me and Kyrou have played with a lot and over the years, and he's someone that does all the little things right and plays a hard game. So he really compliments us, and we're happy to have him on our line.
Robert, a few years ago, when you guys were in the Stanley Cup run and you guys were playing pretty much every other day, and I asked Joe Vitale about playing every other day, and he said, oh man, this is the best because as a player you love to play every other day and you never have to practice. What did you think of that schedule? Do you like the 4-day or 4-game weeks? Is that a perfect setup for you?
Yeah, he's bang on. When you get kind of going in the season, you definitely don't want to practice, so you just love the games, and it's always nice being in the action. Sometimes a couple-day break is nice just to kind of reset and give the body a rest, but playing every other day is really nice.
So Jeremy Rutherford reported that there was a little scuffle yesterday between Kyrou and Schenn. You care to elaborate on that a little bit? And then I got a second part of the question for you after you answer that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was kind of going on, but it's nice. It's we've been harping on practice being competitive and physical, and especially with the breaks, you got to stay in game ready shape, and it's nice to see that they're competing and going hard. So, there's nothing else to it, really.
So now I know you would never be in this situation, but if you were in a bar fight, which teammate you taking with you?
I'm going to go with Tyler Tucker.
Hey!
Really?
Good play.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I can see
like that. Yeah. He's a little bit of an aggressive guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would always have your back, and he's a good northern Canadian boy, so he'd be my pick.
We did our superlatives last week, and JR picked him as the best fighter, so you might have picked correctly.
Who are your guys' picks?
I think I picked Tyler Tucker I might have went with Toro for best fighter.
I went with Brayden Schenn just because I've seen him, but now he's the captain, so I don't know. I think we're waiting for you to get in a fight, Robert. Of course, we don't want that to happen, but we'll see and wait and see how that goes for you.
We'll see about that one.
Hey, Robert, we know that you guys have a game tomorrow, but I want to look ahead because we are going to talk to you before you play Pittsburgh on Saturday. And you obviously, as a hockey fan, a young hockey fan, you literally grew up watching the entire career of Sidney Crosby. What's it like for you to play against number 87?
Yeah, it's always really cool. Like you said, someone a lot of younger players in the league watched and idolized growing up, and such a special player. And it's one of those things that when you're older and you're retired and you're talking to your kids, you're going to be like, I got to play against Sidney Crosby, and that's really cool. And it's always special going out against him.
Robert, I like to ask players this. What was your welcome to the NHL moment? I'll give you mine briefly. I was a rookie in the huddle in practice, and there was Peyton Manning in the huddle, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James, and I'm standing around the huddle. I'm in there with the entire offense. I'm thinking to myself, man, if Marvin Harrison comes in the huddle, I'm in here with the whole future Hall of Famers. And all I heard was ready, break, the play was called, and I missed everything. And so I realized, oh, my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What was your welcome to the NHL moment for you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think one of my first games I got to play against Jonathan Toews, and growing up, he was obviously a big part of the World Juniors, and that was something I watched every year, and he was my favorite player growing up. So I got to line up against him on a face-off, and he just won it so clean I could have laughed. So that was probably my moment.
Good. Hey, tomorrow night, as we mentioned, the Arizona Coyotes are in town. And it's been a strange, during your career, strange series with Arizona because they always give you guys trouble, don't they?
Yeah, there's always those teams that seem to just have a way against you, or there's teams that you play against that you guys just seem to, or that we always seem to, be able to have success against. So definitely, one of those teams that we're always pissed off going into it because we know that they've got the better of us for the last little while. And we're trying to turn the page now.
Well, go get them tomorrow. Have a good practice today, Robert. Thanks so much for the time, and we will talk to you next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Robert Thomas, Blues forward here on 101 ESPN. By the way, DeMarco always said that his welcome to the NFL moment was they're playing against the Rams. L.A. Rams are playing against the Chiefs in 1994, and he is in the pile as Joe Montana is throwing the ball, and DeMarco looks up and literally says, because DeMarco grew up in the Bay Area, Richmond, California, and he looks up and says, "Hey, you're Joe Montana."
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that.
pretty incredible. Coming up here on 101 ESPN. Now we're going to do the fight.
Okay. Now this is happening. Robert Thomas threw me off this morning. I was like, what is happening here?
So, do you have a fighter, Matthew?
No, we need a new fighter.
We need a new fighter.
We got a lot of old fighters texting in.
Beat down the guy yesterday.
Sorry.
Yeah. You had my back. No, I lost to him.
Nobody's getting to the Hall of Fame on our watch. So anyway, you can text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO with your name and the word fight, and maybe Matthew will pick you for the fight next on 101 ESPN. Later this afternoon, I'm going to make my way over to Mentality in Chesterfield, and they're going to help me out in making sure my energy stays up. You know, I had been at that point where my energy level was down, and I was wondering what was wrong. I was thinking, Randy, you're just getting old, and you can't get through the bike rides or walking the golf course like you used to. And then I found out about Mentality, where they have an FDA-approved supplemental testosterone treatment that does restore your energy to the level that it was when you were in your 20s. And every guy loses their testosterone level, and they lose their energy. And what they do at Mentality is they bring you in, they do a complete panel on your blood work. They have great doctors and nurses, and when they measure your testosterone level, they determine that they're going to get it back to where it was when you were in your 20s. And that does bring your energy level back, and it does make you feel better on a daily basis and allows you to have the physical stamina that you had when you were in your 20s. Find out what they do at lowtusa.com. They're going to work with your insurance company to keep your costs low. They're going to do great work. You're going to love them at Mentality. Get started now at lowtusa.com.
To the fight! In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Kerry Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Tyler. How you doing, Tyler?
Not too bad.
I was over here doing my child thing. Fight, 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 fight. 'Cause that's what we get a lot of texts on the text line. That's what they say. Are you ready to take on Randy Carricker?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. In their history, the Cardinals have been victorious in 7 NLCSs, 82, 85, 87, 80, 04, 06, 11, 13, which is the only team they have beat multiple times in those 7 series. Is it the Astros, the Brewers, or the Dodgers?
Go Astros. Final answer.
Final answer. Okay. Well, the next question. With 2 home runs last night, Kyle Schwarber now has 10 home runs in the LCS, tying Albert Pujols for the second most in postseason history. Which AL star has the most with 13? Is it Manny Ramirez, Nelson Cruz, or Jose Altuve?
Go Jose Altuve.
Which Mets player hit the grand slam single to win Game 5 of the 1999 NLCS? Is it Roger Cedeno, Robin Ventura, or John Olerud?
Let's go option 2.
Final question. The Chiefs have won their division 7 straight seasons. Which is the only NFC team to pull off that feat? Is it the Rams, the Eagles, or the 49ers?
Go San Francisco on this one.
All right, we'll double check our score and we will bring in Randy Carricker.
Tyler, how you feel?
Terrible.
Oh.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. Was it?
Hoping for more hockey.
You were hoping for more hockey, huh?
Oh.
Unfortunately, Rocc tends to. I don't know how he does that. I don't know if he kind of scrolls through the text line and see what words you use most often and goes with the opposite of that. If you talk a lot about hockey, I'm just throwing a conspiracy theory out there.
doing
right now?
Just a conspiracy, man.
You think,
I don't know.
We just picked
No,
Tyler
it's
a minute
random.
ago.
It's random. It is random.
Unbelievable.
He does a great job of picking it random.
Likely story.
That's how sprinkle a little bit in there. That's how you got to do. Randy, say hello to Tyler.
Tyler, good morning. How you doing?
I was doing better a couple minutes ago.
Good to have you with us, eh?
I'm sorry?
Good to have you with us, eh?
Oh, it's good to be here.
All right, Randy, here we go.
Ready.
In their history, the Cardinals have been victorious in 7 NLCSs, which is the only team they have beat multiple times in those 7 series.
Okay. Do you want to go through these?
Go ahead.
Have at
So
it.
in
How about that?
1982, they played the Brewers in the NLCS. Or I'm sorry, they played the Braves in the LCS, which would probably be the multiple one, right? But they've played in 7, or they've won 7, or played in 7, right?
Won 7.
They've won.
They've won
seven.
7 LCSs. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can rattle off the 7
Sure,
World Series
I'll do it.
appearances.
I'll do it. Okay. So 82, you beat Atlanta. And then you have to go all the way to 85. You beat the Doyers. 87, you beat the Giants. And then you have to move ahead to 2002, where you lost. No, 2000, where you lost to the Braves. 2002, you lost to the Giants. 01, you lost in the first round. So I'm still trying to find that team. I think we might have beaten the Doyers in. Hold on. 04, we did beat the Doyers, but was it in the LCS? I think it was. So I'm probably thinking that 85 and 04. Oh, no, 04 we beat Houston. Sorry. 05 we lost to Houston. 06 we beat the Mets. Let's see. 11 we beat the Brewers. And then in 13 we beat the Doyers. So I'm still going to go with the Doyers.
All right. With 2 home runs last night, Kyle Schwarber now has 10 home runs in the LCS, tying Albert Pujols for the second most in postseason history. Which AL star has the most with 13?
This is a total coin flip between Poppy and Manny, and I'm going to go with Poppy. Big Poppy David Ortiz, Boston Red Sox, who had like 8 in that comeback against the... Not really 8, but it felt like
8.
Yeah, in 04.
Which Mets player hit the grand slam single to win Game 5 of the 1999 NLCS?
1999 NLCS.
1999.
Was it Mo Vaughn? No. 1999 New York Mets. 1999. So they lost to the Braves in that LCS. I'm going to have to guess that it was Robin Ventura that hit that walk-off grand slam single.
I don't feel like that was a guess.
Yeah. I was just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there as a
just
possibility.
Just kind of toying with your food there.
Final question. The Chiefs have won their division 7 straight seasons. Which is the only NFC team to pull off that feat?
7 straight division championships. Okay, this is going to be between the Niners and the Cowboys. And I'm guessing that the Niners probably in that area from 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 84. I'm going to go with San Francisco because the Cowboys always had to deal with the Redskins or the Giants. The Eagles weren't great back in the day. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. It's my team.
It was an extremely close fight today. Again, just a one-question winner. No blowouts in the fight today. No bludgeonings in the fight today, Carrie. I'm so
Not
sorry.
today.
Yeah, I know how much you love that. Yeah, see? Yeah, bang the table because you're sad about it. So, was Tyler able to come in here and upset Randy Carricker on historically the best day to get an upset on Randy Carricker? Those are those really weird hump days. It's Wednesdays and Fridays are the best times to get wins. So was Tyler able to pull it off, or does Randy Carricker keep cruising through the week? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
Just wait, baby.
Tyler, so close. Randy Carricker just edged you out 2-1 in today's fight.
Well, I had zero confidence, so that is not fun.
There you go. In their history, the Cardinals have been victorious in 7 NLCS, 82, 85, 87, 04, 06, 11, and 13. And in fact, the Dodgers are the only team they have beat multiple times. That was 85 and 13 for the Dodgers. The run of those teams, it goes Braves, Dodgers, Giants, Astros, Mets, Brewers, Dodgers for the Cardinals NLCS victims. With 2 home runs last night, Kyle Schwarber now has 10, tying Albert Pujols for the second most in postseason history. With 13, Manny Ramirez sits at the very top of the list.
Yep.
Which Mets player hit the grand slam single to win Game 5 of the 1999 NLCS? It was, in fact, Robin Ventura, who was bombarded at first base, including one of the Mets hitters doubling back because he thought it was just a single and didn't see the ball leave the stadium. So he doubled back to pick up Robin Ventura, and they said, yeah, that's a single now. Sorry about that. And obviously the Mets would go on to lose, as Randy said. And the Chiefs have won their division 7 straight seasons. The only NFC team to pull off that feat, it is not the Cowboys, who did it 6 in the 60s and 5 times in the 90s, or the Niners, who did it 5 times in the 80s. It is, in fact, from 1973 to 1979, the Los Angeles Rams, the only NFC team to ever go 7 straight. Obviously, the record of all time is the Patriots with 12 straight division titles, and that is a 2-1 win for Randy Carricker in today's fight. Tyler, thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show today.
Yep, you guys have a great day.
You too, Tyler.
Thank you.
I
Thank you very
the
much.
Rams when I said the year date. That was impressive. Well, some kind of clicked in your head like, now I got
They
it.
were always good. But they never went to a Super Bowl until 79.
Yep.
So the Vikings were in their way, the Cowboys were in their way, the Skins were in their way, a couple of other teams. Mostly the Cowboys. That's the fight on 101 ESPN. Coming up, the Rush Hour Reset. We'll show you and tell you and let you hear what you want in a number 1 starter. Next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Kerry, and let me tell you about my great friends at STL Design and Build. They have been helping me get a new deck, and it has been an outstanding experience. I've been going through this for a couple of weeks now. As I said, the deck was torn down. It is being replaced every single day when I come home. There's work being done on it, and I can see the progress. It's great to see. The workers were there until about 5:30, 6 o'clock yesterday, just really getting it in, grinding, and getting the job done. They have been fantastic. My project coordinator, Becky, has kept me in the loop about everything that is going on. The contractors are great guys. Brandon has been back there working his butt off. He's a great guy, and they are a great company. They are a company that is an award-winning company. They have won many awards and done great jobs throughout the year. They are a company that truly believes in treating people how they want to be treated. The STL, the owners are from St. Louis, so obviously it stands for St. Louis, but it also stands for Sky's the Limit, because that's what they're going to give you. They're going to give you your dream deck at a fair price. Check them out online today at STL Design and Build. You will not be disappointed.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
It's 9:04 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We invite you to watch our show on the Air Alliance Team Studio Cam. You can see Brooke, you can see Carrie, you can see Randy. You can see Brooke and Carrie and Matthew on the YouTube channel.
Why would they want to see you?
No, you don't want to see me.
Sure they do.
Randy, yes they do.
You know,
I love you, Randy.
I'm just wearing my my Ascension Charity Classic red pullover today.
Well, Randy, now people get really angry when we say stuff and we don't 100% deliver it, so they only get me like 20% of the time.
That's true.
So
we need to deliver more of Matthew. Anyway,
No, we don't.
Our Air Alliance Team Studio Cam YouTube channel is 101 ESPN STL. So you can watch us, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel as well. Last night, Philadelphia just rolls the Arizona Diamondbacks 10-0. And we saw how crazy the Philadelphia fans are, and they're fantastic when things are going well. But here's the thing. And I've talked about how I want the Cardinals to have a horse. And it's hard to find those guys. Aaron Nola looks for all the world like a horse, okay? He looks like a guy that you want on the mound in a clinching game of a playoff series or a World Series. A few years ago, Chris Carpenter was inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and talked about, prior to 2011 Game 5 NLDS, how he was sitting on the bus with Nick Punto and Gerald Laird and said, hey, guys, you just give me a couple runs, we're going to win the game. And then he got into the game. And the crowd in Philadelphia, if you watched last night, was as bananas as it was last night. So what did Chris Carpenter do? Here's what he said.
One was the bus ride the night before. I remember sitting on the bus with Nick Punto and Gerald Laird and a couple other guys talking about if you just give me a couple runs, I'm telling you we're going to win. Just give me a couple runs and we'll be okay. And they all looked at me like I was crazy, but I truly believe that. And the second one was, I've told this story many times, is that Philly was loud. I mean, they were super loud. I noticed in the first inning, though, like every out, I'd get an out and the decibels would come down. I'd get an out, the decibels would come down. And at the end of like you get the third out and it was quiet. Right? And then I go running back out on the mound in the second, and the same thing. They're going crazy, waving their towels. I'd get an out, and the volume would go down. So I started playing a game. I was paying attention to the volume of the stands. It was a lot of fun. And then the last one was in the ninth inning. I was sitting there getting ready at the bat rack, and Mike Eldreddy, who was a coach of ours, was standing there, and I mean, he was pacing around, and he didn't know what to do with himself. He was panicking. And I just looked at him, and I patted him on the shoulder, and I was like, Aldo, that was his nickname, was Aldo. I was like, Aldo, we're okay. I was like, we got it. I was like, I promise we got it. He's like, you looked at me again, looked at me crazy. I'm like, no, we're good. Just relax, man. Just relax.
That's as good as it gets. That gives me chills. That's the guy I want in a big game on the mound.
I think Philly has one or two of those guys.
Yeah,
I'm looking at
do.
these numbers from Aaron Nola. He's got a .96 ERA this postseason with 19 strikeouts. He's pitching pretty well. I mean, Zach Wheeler is he's scuffling. He's at a 2.37 and 26 strikeouts. Yeah, what is he out there doing in 3 games? But, those two guys at the top of your rotation, along with what they do at the plate, has been outstanding for this Philadelphia Phillies team. And it's we talk so much about how at times people consider baseball to be boring. Well, if you want to watch some good baseball, watch Philadelphia. Yeah. Watch them play, watch them pitch, watch them field. They are doing everything the right way, and the Diamondbacks look lost out there.
They do, and that's the thing is that I would love to see for the Cardinals, and that you're talking about seeing with the Phillies, is having that two-headed monster. That is something that I feel like you need at the top of your starting rotation, is that threat. Aaron Nola was fantastic, but he looked so calm on the mound because he knew, one, that his hitters would show up, and two, just the atmosphere, they're used to that, and they played into that. Aaron Nola was playing into that. That's why I dubbed them the most insane fans in baseball right now, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, because the Phillies just look so confident and settled in who they are, and they're just really living in opposing teams' nightmares, Freddy Krueger style.
I think one thing that's intriguing as well, normally you see this information. You see this type of excitement or ability when you win a World Series, not when you lose. Like they seem like they're playing with house money. They haven't won. This group hasn't won a World Series, but they're playing like. When you win a championship, you play a lot freer than when you're trying to win your first one. And watching them, you wouldn't be able to tell. You would think that they are a team that has already won 2 or 3 championships, and they're just out there having fun and doing. It's not a lot of pressure. The pressure hasn't hit them yet, and so. I think just because of that, that's the one thing that I'm seeing with this team is why they are so fun to watch. They're not in a moment where they feel like, oh my God, they're tensing up and worried about. They did that last year. I said Kyle Schwarber trying to bunt his way on to base was a sign that they panicked a little bit. Yeah, they're not doing that this year. They are dialed in. Man, I'm swinging for the fences, Kyle Schwarber, and if I miss, I miss. But if I hit it, it's gonna still be going by the time you all wake up tomorrow morning. And that's the type of game that they're playing, and it's really fun to watch.
Okay, who do we think right now, before free agency, who's the Cardinals' #1 starting pitcher?
That they're going to try to get?
That is on their roster right now.
Miles Michaelis?
Michaelis, okay. So, does Miles Michaelis, let's look at the American League first. Does Miles Michaelis slot in our #1 ahead of either Jordan Montgomery or Nathan Eovaldi?
No.
Does he slot in ahead of Framber Valdez, who struggled his last time out, or Christian Javier?
No.
Certainly not Philadelphia's guys, right?
No.
Or Gallen and Merrill Kelly, who started last night.
No.
Our #1 isn't the #2 with the teams that are remaining.
He's
that's
not
why you got to get.
Is he Ranger Suarez?
Scherzer?
Like
No, it's Hunter Brown. So that's what the Cardinals have to contend with. We talk about getting 2 starters or 3 starters. Our #1 guy right now in the final 4, and this is not anything against Miles Michaelis, who's fine, but he's not a #2 for any of the remaining teams. So that's what the Cardinals have to strive for this offseason, is to get at least 2, maybe 3 guys that render Miles Michaelis your 4th starter.
Exactly. You have to go get an Aaron Nola, or I know that Yamamoto has been linked with some more other teams here lately, or a Yamamoto, somebody who can be your ace, because you don't have that going in the season. And what do all these other teams have? What is the commonality that they have?
Pitching.
Good pitching, really good starting pitching, where you're not even worried about the bullpen.
And they all have stud bullpens, too, though.
Exactly. But that's the thing. If your starter is giving you those type of innings, I mean, Aaron Nola, 6 shutout innings last night. I mean, do you even need to worry about your bullpen and what they're going to do in those situations? No, they just are there to get those final outs. But having those guys, somebody like an Aaron Nola, has to be a must. Has to be a must. And the Phillies, I don't see how they're going to let him go. But I did find that interesting. And I brought up that Bob Nightingale report where he's saying that supposedly when they were having some talks that he was looking for 8 years, $200 million plus, while the Phillies were looking for around more 4 to 5 years. If the Cardinals hear that, are you matching that? Are you saying, okay, we'll give you the 8 years, $200 million plus?
I don't think they will. I think in the current, and normally I've been pretty much in sync with the Cardinals thinking. I think this is different. I think right now, this year, what they're coming off of, what their competition is in town, I think if 8 years and $200 million is on the table for Aaron Nola, you got to jump all over that. If you can get him for $25 million a year for 8 years, and I know he's 30 years old, you got to take it.
That's the number, though.
I think it's greater than that too.
Definitely.
That's why you have the plus sign, because that can mean a multitude of things.
Yeah, right. That is your Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Oh, by the way, tonight we've got the Rangers and Astros Game 3, 6:30 pregame here on your home of the baseball postseason, 101 ESPN. Coming up, Matthew has tracked down Jamie Rivers, and Rivs is going to join us next on 101 ESPN. I was over at Fenton Bar and Grill last week during their happy hour, and their happy hour is absolutely amazing. They have fantastic cheese curds that we enjoyed immensely, and if you like some mini tacos, those were great as well. It's the place to go for sports. You've got Blues beer specials every night that the Blues play. You've got wonderful places or wonderful specials every day of the week. As a matter of fact, today you're going to have your chicken tenders in golden sauce special that is fantastic. Tomorrow, gumbo Thursday. You're absolutely going to love everything about the Fenton Bar and Grill, mostly the people. Alicia's going to be there today. You can say hi to Kelly or Megan or Colleen and Ashley. The whole group is so much fun, and they also have now their very own beer. Come try the Fenton Bar and Grill hard-working lager at the Fenton Bar and Grill. They're on Rudder Road in Fenton. Rudder Road is open now. The construction is passed. And I tell you, you're going to love the food. You're going to love the people. You're going to love everybody you talk to there because they love sports just like we do. When you go to the Fenton Bar and Grill, tell them Randy sent you. Say hi to the big boss man, Chuck. He'll love it at the Fenton Bar and Grill.
Presented by Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, a proud partner of your St. Louis Blues. Find your perfect new floor at our 4 convenient locations and online at boardwalkhardwood.com.
Carrie and Randy, we always love talking to our friend, the very friendly and fun and effervescent Jamie Rivers, who is your analyst for Blues Hockey on Bally Sports. Jamie has a dentist appointment coming up. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good, guys. How we doing?
Good. How do you like the dentist?
The dentist and I have a really unique relationship. You know, over the years, I think I've put his kids through college with all of the dental work that I've had to have done for my career in pro hockey.
So is there a better dentist story than Shanny getting his lip ripped open, by the way?
Wow. I had a unique one where it wasn't my tooth, per se. Well, it wasn't my tooth that happened, but my very first American Hockey League game, you know, you're going down, and at that time, Randy, it was the Iron League. Like, you got to earn your stripes. And very first game, I got in a fight with a guy named Sean McCosh. And I hit him with a punch, and part of his tooth stuck in my knuckle.
Oh, nice.
Now, I didn't know it was in there until, like, the first whistle. And the trainer comes running over to the penalty box and is like tapping on the glass. And I'm looking at the trainer going, what the hell does this guy want? You know?
Oh,
and so
you had to give it back?
So then he like points to my hand and I look at my hand and there's a tooth stuck in my hand. So he takes the tooth out of my hand and puts it in a little Save the Tooth kit. And yeah, so I thought everything was fine. I didn't think it was a big deal. Well, I woke up in the middle of the night and my hand was the size of my pillow at that point with infection.
Wow, man.
And I had to head off to the hospital. But, that's the most interesting thing I've had to have with teeth.
That's epic. That's as good as it gets.
I thought you were going to get to keep the tooth as a souvenir.
I should have. I should have made a necklace out of it. Is what I should have done.
Yes,
that'd be so intimidating.
For everybody that knows, this is what this was in my hand from someone's mouth. It's with me forever.
Oh my gosh, that is good. Yeah, that's a good way to scare people. Just having a necklace, you know, of teeth.
Yes,
that's one way to intimidate anyone. Well, I want to ask you, Jamie. I saw you out at practice yesterday, and with the update on Pavel Buchnevich, he is now considered day to day, which I think is good news considering the possible shoulder injury that he's experiencing. We likely won't see him Thursday. So there was some things that moved around. Alexei Toropchenko getting promoted, and he's going to be on the second line. And then you have Brandon Saad on the top line with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. What do you think about the way that they have shifted things around and having those guys in those roles?
Yeah, I like what Chief has done. I think that a couple things. Brandon Saad has played with Thomas and Kyrou before. So he's used to the way they play. And one thing I like about Brandon Saad on that line is he is very much straightforward. He's north-south kind of player. And Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, obviously, they're a little more dynamic. So I think he simplifies that line a little bit. I think they'll have some success. Now, as far as Toropchenko is concerned, I think he's earned the right to play on that line. You know, he's had a couple of good games, but the last game in particular, man, he was all over the place. He was blocking shots, making hits, driving the net, creating some offense. I absolutely loved what he brought to the game the other night against the Kraken. So, you know what? Give him a chance to play on that line. I know that Craig Berube, if he doesn't like what he sees early in the game, he'll mix it up. He'll have a little bit of a revolving door on that line until he figures out what's working best. But I think it's great that a guy that works hard and plays the game the way the team wants him to play, I think it's great he's getting the opportunity first.
Jamie, Jeremy Rutherford reported that there was a little scrum between Brayden Schenn and Jordan Kyrou yesterday. Is that just a situation where the captain is holding his guys accountable?
Oh, man, yeah, it was like 15 feet in front of me. I was enjoying it. I had popcorn out and everything. I thought it was fantastic. But, no, look, here's the thing. For a team to be successful, you have to push each other in practice. You have to. I mean, if you're not pushing your teammate in practice, how the heck is that guy going to get better for the game situations? And I think that this was a defensive zone coverage drill. And, you know, Jordan Kyrou may or may not have been going as hard as he should have. And Brayden Schenn just said, well, if you're not going to go hard, I'm going to go twice as hard, and you're not going to like this very much. And they kind of got after each other a little bit. Cooler heads prevailed. It was no big deal. Craig Berube didn't even stop the drill. He just kept going. Like, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, when I played, and I know, hey, back in my day, there were fights all the time in practice.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a daily thing, but it was nothing to have a fight every 10 days in practice. And guys just pick up your gloves, get back to work, and you knew you were trying your hardest to get better every day.
It's like brothers, literally. Like, you are family, and sometimes when you have an older brother or a younger brother, sometimes you got to fight it out. And when mom comes in, says stop it, you stop, and you all go back to what you were doing. But that's how you know you all are on the same page and working together for a common goal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like that. And you know what? Yesterday, about 5 minutes later, Kyrou and Schenn are on the side of the boards talking and kind of giggling and yucking it up again. It's literally like my brother and I growing up would fight to the death in the driveway playing street hockey. Like, there's no way one of us is going to live.
Right.
Yet 4 minutes later, we're hugging each other and we're having a blast doing something else. It's like the world's craziest kind of ADD.
Hey, Rivs, this is just so recency bias stuff, but it is being talked about. Is there anything that needs to be fixed with the Blues power play, aside from scoring goals? From a systematic standpoint, you see the game better than we do. From a schematic standpoint, is there anything that needs to change?
Yeah, two things, in my opinion. One is making sure that everybody's doing the right routes on the breakout. Right now, it's like guys are cutting it short. They're kind of improvising. They're doing their own thing. And it's affecting the way that the Blues can positively exit their zone with control of the puck. So one thing is doing the routes correctly for the breakout and then being willing to put the puck into the offensive zone, chip it in. Right now, they're trying to carry the puck in with full control every single time, and teams are realizing that, so the defensemen are just standing up at the blue line, and the forwards are backing them up through the middle of the ice because they're not afraid of the puck being dumped in at all. So what the Blues have to do now is chip the puck in down low, go get it, reverse puck side, spread out that penalty kill a little bit so you can gain control of it and get set up, because they really haven't had any extended time set up in the offensive zone as a power play yet. So those are two things that I've noticed. I think they'll be working on those for the next game.
So I'm watching tomorrow night on Bally, and the Blues are on the power play. Tell me what looks good in terms of a route getting out of the zone on the power play.
Well, you can always tell when guys are either on time or off time. And all that means is when they go back, the defenseman is usually the guy who starts with the puck in the defensive zone. And when he starts his movement up the ice, everybody's back doing their routes at the same time. It's almost like not like a synchronized swimming, but you can see everybody kind of coming up the ice together. You know, it looks like in sync. And then the Blues will either do that drop pass breakout or they'll carry it in. But everybody from the defensive zone, their timing is correct, and they're all coming up together at the same time so that they have options at that point. When it looks bad is when you've got guys that are kind of staggered and all over the place, and then they're trying to improvise and fill a lane, and then you don't know what you're doing because you've practiced a certain way of breaking out, and then guys aren't in the same spot. So for Carey, it'd be like, a quarterback calling a play where you have guys lined up in a certain spot, but then you've got one guy lined up in the wrong spot. The play looks a lot different at that point.
Yep. Got it. Good explanation. Thank you.
Jamie, one of the positives that has stuck out to me with the Blues so far, other than Jordan Binnington, obviously, is though the blocking of shots. They have 35 blocked shots through these first two games. To me, that is a huge positive and some growth that you've seen from last season. As a former player, what does that mean when you see a guy doing that, and how much does it just help the team?
Well, there's a couple of layers to that one. One, as a team, when you see a guy blocking the shot, you just know how much that hurts. And I don't care, wearing the gear and all that. I can tell you from my own experience, it never seems to find all of the protective gear that you're wearing. And so you're getting blasted with a puck from 85 to 100 miles an hour, and it doesn't feel very good. So as a team, when you see your teammate doing that, you're recognizing that guy is laying it out for the team, because there's ice packs involved following the game. So from a morale standpoint, it really boosts the team, seeing guys, sacrifice of themselves. Now, from a schematic standpoint, you have to. In today's NHL, guys shoot the puck so quickly, so often. The big slap shot is kind of gone from the game. You get it every now and then, but there's really not a lot of time to get that off. So you've got these wrist shots that come flying in there, and you've got to get sticks and bodies in the lanes. And to play the defensive system that the Blues are going to play, you will sacrifice passes to the point from time to time. And when you do, those pucks are going to get shot, and you've got to get big. You've got to make yourself available to be hit by the puck. And that's just the way it is. To protect the middle of the ice, you have to collapse. You have to shrink in the defensive zone. And at that point, you leave yourself susceptible for some shots from the outside, mind you. But when they come, you got to block them.
Rivs, love you. Thanks so much for the time. By the way, one quick story. One time in the fast lane when I was doing it with BT, he went to the dentist and had his lip numbed, and he came in and did the whole show sounding like Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz.
I actually remember that, Randy. I remember it very well. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life.
It was classic. Hey,
Yeah.
have a great day, and thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Jamie. The great Jamie Rivers on 101 ESPN. He does such a great job of breaking down hockey for people that never played before. I never played hockey, and I think I know what I'm watching, but I really don't. So if I can have him explain it to me, it's a lot better.
Yeah, he does a great job of that, and that's why I've enjoyed just listening to him on the broadcast. When I saw him at practice yesterday, I was like, you're here at practice too, and you're going to do radio, and you're getting ready for the game. I'm like, do you sleep at this point?
No.
He is always going.
Yeah.
Booked and busy.
Yeah. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we talked earlier about Katie Woo's schedule for the Cardinals as they approach the offseason, and we want to know what you think. Is there anything they should add aside from identifying possible free agents and trades, maybe working on their coaching staff, and getting ready for what needs to be a really aggressive approach? You are next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. Ever since I've moved here to St. Louis back in 2018, I've loved exploring my new home, and thanks to Metro, it's so much easier to do. I've lived in other cities that didn't provide public transportation, and believe me, it led to a lot of congested traffic in the area and also just made it harder to get to events like concerts and games. But that's why I love Metro Transit. It's easy to access for everyone, and it's hockey season right now, so you can take it right over to Enterprise Center. You can go to Buch Stadium, City Park, and more without the hassle of parking or waiting in traffic or trying to call an Uber. You know how big of a hassle that is. Metro Transit just gets you straight to the action. Even if you haven't given Metro a try yet, it's something that I can promise you other places wish that they had available. There's many benefits even if you don't ride. A healthy and vibrant public transportation system helps attract businesses to come here to St. Louis and creates a significant amount of jobs in the region. And of course, it helps many people get to their job. Give Metro a chance and experience the benefits for yourself. Thanks to Metro, you don't have to drive to thrive.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night, Game 2 of the NLCS, Phillies took a commanding 2-0 lead in the series with a 10-0 victory over the Diamondbacks. Aaron Nola with 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, obviously pitched a shutout there. And the Phillies, for the second game in a row, hit 3 home runs off the Diamondback starter. This time it was 1 from Trey Turner and 2 from the big man Kyle Schwarber. Tonight, ALCS Game 3. You can catch it right here on 101 ESPN, 6:30 pregame for a 7:03 first pitch in Game 3 there. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find the roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Has a piece up at the Athletic regarding what the Cardinals are doing as they plan out the early weeks of what they say is a very important offseason. The Cardinals insisting that the 90-loss season and missing the playoffs was a one-off, and it would appear from the outside that it is not going to be an easy task to turn things around. But Katie says step 1 is going to be to finalize next year's Major League coaching staff, suggesting that the Cardinals need to add to that coaching staff. Step 2, identify their preferred free agent targets. And step 3, confirm which players they're open to trading. Let's start with number 1, because the Yadier Molina situation with the coaching staff continues to simmer. And Yadi talked to a reporter in the Dominican, or not in the Dominican Republic, but rather in Puerto Rico, and Yadi said, hey, we've been talking about a position either in management or with the coaching staff. And if he's willing to do it, and that's a big commitment, by the way, because when you're a baseball coach, you get in at about 10 in the morning and you get out of there at about midnight, and there's a lot of video to go through, a lot of numbers to go through, a lot of communication that needs to take place. That is not an easy job. He's set for life financially, and he loves baseball, but it's not something typically that the superstar player really enjoys doing. And if he would, that would be awesome for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a completely different grind. I mean, there's the grind of playing every day and specifically playing catcher and crouching down and wearing the gear in 100-degree weather. That's one type of grind, right? That's a physical grind that takes a toll on your body. But when you become a coach and you are in there, as you said, for hours before the players show up, hours after the players leave, that's a mental grind. And then you don't have as much of an impact on the game as you did as a player. And that's probably the most frustrating part about it as well. You can do all you can do to prepare your guys, but at the end of the day, they have to go out there and perform. So I guess him being in the front office or being on the bench, I think either one would be good for the Cardinals because they are in dire need of someone that has played the position at a high level, that understands how to manage pitching staffs and can make sure that their guys are, calling the right pitches and throwing the right pitches in the right location. Maybe that would be ideal for a Cardinals team for their starting pitchers and their relievers.
I want him to be a part of the coaching staff. I think that that's where he really thrives. We saw him manage for Puerto Rico. I just think that Yadier Molina being a part of your coaching staff, he essentially has been a part of your coaching staff for all this time while he's been here. He's been very hands-on and working specifically with the pitchers where they didn't really even have to think much. Yadier Molina was able to walk them through so many different situations and also specifically working with the catchers too. And that's something that I think if you're looking to maximize this deal that you have with Wilson Contreras, and if you're going to keep him as your catcher, having Yadier Molina being a part of your staff, not only helping Wilson Contreras maximize that contract to get the most out of it, but also to help your pitching staff, your hitters, every single aspect of the game, Yadier Molina can be there to help with that. And that is a huge benefit. And I think that's good on the organization. If you're going to start out the offseason like this, where you're going to add Yadier Molina to your staff, to your organization, that's a home run in my book.
But you can't stop there. And Katie writes, St. Louis could also add positions to their staff, joining the long list of teams that employ a coaching staff in double digits. Even throughout the struggles of the 2023 season, the players backed the coaching staff, including Marmol. One of the biggest player concerns, according to sources, was that there simply wasn't enough coaching to go around. So the Cardinals would do well to provide Blake Ilsley with an assistant pitching coach.
Dusty Blake?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I like how there was one day where you really did forget what his name was. Was that you? That was you. Yeah, you were like, I forgot completely.
I completely forgot his name.
Yeah. Get him an assistant. Turner Ward will need a new assistant because their old assistant became the assistant softball coach at Mississippi State or something like that.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Yeah, Ole Miss. So they do need more coaches. Now, we get a text that wonders if Yadi is a good idea. I pray that it's a no for Molina. That's the easy option. They need to take a look in the mirror at what they are doing. Yes, they do. Fundamentally, this team regressed dramatically, and they need to look at why they regressed dramatically in terms of fundamentals, and that goes back to coaching. But that is something that Yadi can help with. My point is, and I think all of us agree, Yadi would be a great addition, but you just can't stop with Yadi. You need to add to the coaching staff in several other areas.
Yes, it will. And I keep seeing these texts come in, and we have discussed this a little bit. This one coming from the 314, bringing Yadi will only cause turmoil in the coaching staff. Do we want Yadi? Yes, but only when Ollie is gone. There seems to be some concern from the fan base that this relationship wouldn't exactly pan out well with Ollie Marmol and Yadier Molina. They worked well together last season. I saw that. And I know it's different when somebody all of a sudden gets that coaching job, but they do have that history of working together.
I hate the notion that people assume that Yadi would automatically take over the role as the manager of the team. I don't agree with that. I don't agree because the reason why I don't agree is because that's almost assuming that Yadi is not a team player. And if we've learned anything, catchers are the ultimate team players, right? For baseball, catchers are like fullbacks and like power forwards for NBA teams. Like they are the glue that holds teams together. So I feel like Yadi would understand that this is Ollie Marmol's team. He's the manager. I am here in an assistant coach's role to assist the head guy to make sure that we are all on the same page. I don't foresee Yadi coming in and saying, okay, yeah, you brought me in to be the bench coach or you brought me in to be the assistant pitching coach and I'm going to be the one making the rules or making the decisions for our manager. I think Yadi understands what his role is, what he will be now. If he gets elevated to that role at some point in his tenure, then that's just how things go in sports because people get fired and hired every single day. But I don't think he would come in initially with that mindset or even at any point while Ollie was here.
I think it's unspoken. I just think it's a given. And I would be the same way. If I were in Ollie's shoes and Yadier Molina is next to me and with one out in the seventh inning, he says, hey, we need to make a change here. I'm making the change. If he says,
that's being a good coach, though, trusting your assistants.
But that's the key.
Yeah.
Ollie needs to, and he does. He's open-minded, but he wants to hear a lot of voices. And I would, here's my point. If I'm in his shoes and Yadi is standing next to me and makes a baseball suggestion, I'm going to take that suggestion. I'm not even going to worry. If I have something that I'm really convicted about, I'm going to say, yeah, but he's smarter about baseball than I am.
I don't know if that's the case, because I think if Bobby Cox was thinking something and Leo Mazzoni said, hey, we need to do this, I think Bobby Cox would say, hey, you know what? Okay, I trust you. I know that you have skin in the game. You are a guy that is the same thing with any other manager in the history. If they have people on their staff that have a better view of something or a better understanding of this specific person or this specific situation, I'm going to have to trust them to believe that they're going to be able to make the right call and help us to win this game.
And look, the thing is that it's the final year of Ollie Marmol's contract. It's the business. It's the way that it goes. It's a business at the end of the day. So you're always going to have to be looking behind your back, especially with the way that this season went. Bringing in Yadier Molina to your coaching staff, can it be intimidating? Yes. Ollie has worked with him before. And yes, you're going to still listen to Yadier Molina, because if the organization's bringing him in, I think that that's what they're signaling, is that they want that voice to kind of help things there. And I mean, I think that some of the best coaching staffs that you see in all of sports has guys who could be a manager, could be a head coach. You should be surrounding yourself with guys who could possibly replace you or are just as good as you, because that's what matters. That's how you get better in the long run.
And Yadi doesn't lose. That's one thing that we all know. The other things that Katie points out, confirm which players are open to trading. I think we've already reached the conclusion that there aren't many that they shouldn't be willing to trade. Goldschmidt, Wynn, Walker, and Goldie has said that he's going to have his... He says he's going to be here. He loves St. Louis. Arenado has said he loves being here, but I don't think it's a dead solid lock that the Dodgers won't come calling, because the Dodgers lost in the playoffs again. And if you're the Dodgers, you want to have one of the best players in the game. So I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility that the Cardinals would say, okay, it just didn't work. If they could get, and it'd take a lot for me to move him, but if they could get something something great, then you have to consider that. And then the other one is identify their preferred free agent targets. I'm sure one of them is going to be Aaron Nola, probably priced himself out. Sonny Gray is going to be one of their preferred targets. Wonderful. That's great. But they're going to have to make trades too. If they're going to get that number one front of the rotation guy, they're going to have to probably trade for him. And one other point I would make in regards to dealing for a guy like Dylan Cease, who did fall off a little bit last year. I've mentioned this before. If you're going to add to your coaching staff, you have a guy that wears a red jacket, and Chris Carpenter's already coaching. You steal Chris Carpenter from the Angels and you put him on your major league staff. Not as your pitching coach, but at least as your assistant pitching coach. I think, could you imagine having both Yadi and Carp in the dugout?
It would be awesome.
Oh, my God.
It would be great.
Yes. That would be huge for the organization.
So let's do it, Cardinals. The opening drive, providing you with information that doesn't cost anything.
Hires, we can help with kind of PR.
Marketing.
We talked about that market. We have a lot of great stuff. We come up with great nicknames.
Yep. Oh, fantastic.
That's key. Yes.
Yeah. Give me one day. Give me 24 hours.
24 hours is all you need?
We're back in the playoffs, baby. Coming up, it's Rocc and Roll, and we're going to give away some tickets to a party here on 101 ESPN.
corner, rock! And roll.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Hey, tomorrow morning, Greg Amsinger is going to have a great take on the potential of Yadier Molina joining the Cardinals staff. That's 7:30 tomorrow here on 101 ESPN. And oh, by the way, if you missed anything today, Jamie Rivers was awesome with us, as he always is. We enjoyed hearing from him. You can hear the entire show with our podcast, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. You can get it at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 ESPN app. And oh, by the way, 101 ESPN has your chance to score a pair of tickets to a party. That's right, to see John Party with special guests Midland and Ella Langley. Saturday night at Chaffetz Arena. You can find all the ticket details at 101ESPN.com. You can buy them there, or you can just text in right now, 314-399-9646 for your chance to win free tickets. And Matthew Rocc is going to tell us the rules here for how and what you need to text in to get these John Party tickets for Saturday night.
All right, so grab bag giveaway. Brooke just reached her hand into the grab bag, and the grab bag isn't a grab bag. It's actually a Fenton Bar and Grill hat because we love Fenton Bar and Grill.
We do.
So why would we make it a grab bag when we have this hat? Can people see the hat? I hope people can see the hat.
It's beautiful.
So anyway, Brooke reached into the proverbial grab bag, and she picked out a topic. Now she's going to have to list as many things as she can under this topic in 30 seconds, and you right now can text in your guess. So Brooke, reveal to the people what you're going to be guessing in today's grab bag giveaway.
Golf ball brand names. Randy, did you stick this one in?
I like it a lot.
That was one of the suggestions that was thrown out by the listeners. I was hoping Carrie would get that one of the last 2 or 3 times. I was really hoping Carrie was going to pull this
really
one.
Great.
Okay, here's the thing. I, as you guys know, I started golfing over at Family Golf and Learning Center. They're fantastic. I did have to go do some golf ball shopping online not too long ago, so I feel like I know maybe some in general, but I'm definitely going to miss probably a good bit. Is there even that many?
Under the radar help.
Now, here's the Brooke, you asked that.
It's okay.
I Googled a bunch of lists when I put together these lists so that I have kind of a rubric to kind of guess off of. I found essentially a dozen names that were the most common around golf. There's a dozen names that I could find. About 8 of them are very popular. 4 are the other ones that I'd barely heard of. So I would say that's the cap, is about between 0 and 12 would probably be a good guessing range.
Let me think about
for most people.
You're doing all this talking, so now I'm trying to imagine what the golf balls look like. I'm calculating in my brain.
We have plenty of guesses in. So, Brooke, if you are ready to go, the listeners are ready to go, and you have 30 seconds to name as many golf ball brand names as you can. Are you ready, Brooke Grimsley?
Yes, golf balls are expensive, by the way.
Yes, they are. And go.
Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, Wilson.
Good.
Do they have Wilson's right because they have tennis balls?
Staff,
okay. The Bridgestone.
Perfect. It's 5.
Is there one with an S?
Srixon.
Oh, Srixon.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I already said TaylorMade, Titleist, Callaway. I'm missing a big one, aren't I? I'm sorry. Okay.
It's good.
I only got
6.
1.
That's the end. So you got 6, Brooke. Very well done. I was impressed. The ones that I had written down, somehow I missed Wilson here when I said 12, so there was 13.
Can we count the Srixon one? Because I was right there.
We're counting Srixon for 6. We're counting Srixon for 6. I had Bridgestone, Callaway, Kirkland, Nike, Noodle, Pinnacle, Snell, Srixon, TaylorMade, Titleist, Top Flight, Volvic, and Wilson.
Totally knew that one.
Do you have Vice in there?
Did not have Vice in there. That was another good one. Like I said, there wasn't only 12, but those are the 12 I found most commonly when I was doing lists. So Brooke got 6. We will find our winner here because I saw a couple 6s here. We'll find the first 6, and they're going to be the winner.
Thank God I bought some golf balls.
Good job, Brooke. I like that one.
They are so expensive.
Here's the thing. The next time we have tickets to give away,
we need some new ones.
We need some new ones because here are the categories that are left.
No, don't give away all the categories.
Then you know what? I won't tell you.
You got it. Here's the thing because we got CD and I going with this. Wait, what did she do with his mic?
It ain't been on.
It wasn't there at the start. That's my fault, man. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. I was doing this. I was doing the thing with
Nike.
Brooke.
I got titles at Nike. That was it.
Okay, I forgot Nike.
Titleist and Nike.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
All I know is ball, man.
Man.
Hey, 6 is really good.
It's just
That
that
was really good.
spending money on some golf balls is a lot more expensive.
It is expensive.
Is it bad if you just go to a golf course and like steal some golf balls that people leave out there? Is that frowned upon? Because they're expensive.
If you find
Here's the
golf
thing.
balls while you're searching for your ball, that is not frowned upon.
My recommendation would be to go to Golf Discount of St. Louis, either your O'Fallon or South County locations, and get their pre-owned balls that are much less expensive than new golf balls.
And Randy, we're going to talk a lot about NFL news and notes tomorrow. And in fact, there's a lot of stuff coming out of the league meetings, but there's some breaking news coming out of the league meetings. You want to say that?
Oh, our buddy Roger Goodell signed a new contract through March of 2027. So that's what you get for screwing over St. Louis. It's like $50 million a year for a few more years.
We don't know what the number is, Randy, because the NFL is no longer a non-for-profit entity. They are a for-profit entity, which means they don't have to disclose what they're getting paid.
Yeah,
or what
he's
they're
the
paying
worst. He's a
folks.
liar, and it's been verified in court. He's a liar. But he's
So we
a.
could
I mean, you could get a lot of money.
He's a $25 billion a year liar. Yeah,
It was $47 million, I think, 45 when I was playing.
right. Yeah, he's making a lot.
He might be up there around 60.
And he is on record as saying that he wants, before he leaves, to make the NFL a $25 billion a year entity, and he probably will.
And you know how you do that? You really protect the owners, which they do a great job of.
They really do. Hey, franchise, the Commanders went for $6+ billion.
Rozelle was 63 when he retired. Tagliabue was 65 when he retired. This contract will take Goodell to 66. Is this his last contract as NFL commissioner?
I would think so, yeah.
Who's on deck?
Kevin Demoff.
Kerry Davis.
Son of, I swear.
No way.
You'd be surprised.
Well, Daddy can't get him that high, can he?
Yes, he can.
Still? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a lot of respect for Marvin.
He's a
but
politician.
I'm starting to get a little perturbed with him.
Kevin's a politician, man. Great job today by our producer, audio engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio.
Pleasure.
Brooke, was this fun?
It was. Now I'm getting all these tips for some good golf balls. So range balls.
No.
No, you don't want to hit range balls on the course.
The range balls you do not want to hit on the course.
No.
Okay. Nike golf balls. Nitro.
Oh, yeah, Nitro.
eBay for golf balls. There
Well,
you go.
Yes,
or I'm just going to go steal one off a golf
There
course.
are some really good bulk deals on eBay.
I'll take care of you. I know a guy. CD.
Show us your face. We want to see your face. Who said that? You want to see my face?
Hey, we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show for all of us until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great hump day, St. Louis.
That's right.
Hey, it's Kerry here from my friends at Window Nation. Fall is the best time of the year. It's football time, but it's also the best time of the year. There's so much to love about fall, especially the return of Window Nation's best offer of the year. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. Plus, put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. If your old windows are hard to open or close, or if they're drafty or leaky, well, now is the time to call Window Nation. Take care of it now before the cold weather arrives. Just call them at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. New windows can save you up to 30% on your energy bills. And Window Nation, they will measure your window 3 times to ensure the proper fit. Their comprehensive lifetime warranty includes the entire window, including the glass. Their average installer has over 16 years of experience with 20,000 windows installed, and they are at a 96% satisfaction rate for the windows that they do put in. Check them out today at windownation.com or call them at 866-90-NATION and tell them Kerry sent you.